to the Exploding Heads Horror Movie Podcast, episode number 69, dude. I'm Dave Z, and I got a couple guys over here with me.
Hey, everybody, it's Brandon. How are you?
I was just waiting for the mic noise to stop. And I'm Christian, everybody. How's it going out there?
Oh, was my mic making noise?
You were, like, poking it or something.
I was poking it when I said 69. Yes, I was.
You're like 69 in the mic.
Yeah.
And that's the only 69 joke we're going to make tonight.
You're coming in too hot.
Too hot. Too hot. Did I sing that last show? If I apologize if I did.
I don't think you did sing that one last show.
Oh, okay. Gotta run for shelter. Gotta run for shade.
It may have been a song-free episode. I can't even. I'm editing it as we speak. I'm actually editing the show while we're doing this one.
There's no way this is the song-free episode, considering one of the movies we're talking about and one of the songs in it. Oh, no. I gotta tell you. But let's get to that when we get to it. What?
I was just making fun of you. Oh, no.
Oh, no. Is that what I said? Nice. So tonight we're going to talk about an unusual combination of films. We are talking about, it's Year of the Franchise, so we're doing the Creepshow franchise. However.
However.
Guess what? This is what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Creepshow. We're going to talk about Creepshow 2. And we're going to talk about Hereditary, which I know people that are looking at this before they listen already are aware of that. But, you know, obviously we've decided. Actually, we didn't even decide. I don't even think we discussed even the possibility of doing Creepshow 3 at any point, have we?
I thought about bringing it up, but you know what? I seen it years ago. I don't remember a thing about it. It's got like a 3.1 on the B, and I'm just like, you know what? Why?
And we're going to do it our way. This is how we do it, just like we didn't do Return of the Living Dead 4, Return of the Living Dead 5. They don't exist to us.
We didn't do Vince Vaughn's Psycho, Marco.
Oh, don't stop it. Remember, he can pick a triple R.
I love Marco. I felt so bad when he was so excited when he heard Psycho was coming up next, and he's like, Vince Vaughn for life. It's like, I felt so bad.
Oh, you really think that...
I think he knew.
I don't know if he knew. I told him.
Well, then he knew.
Now he knows. I don't think he knew when he made the post. Like, yeah.
And we are doing another film called Slashers as well. But what I want a lot of people to know, they're probably going Creepshow 1 and 2 and Hereditary. And they probably don't realize that Hereditary started its life as Creepshow 3.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I just wanted to sound so sincere there. And people are like, what? Really? I don't think anybody believed me for a second.
Charlie from Hereditary, her last name is Varel.
Oh, shit. Okay. Has anybody seen Creepshow 3? I've seen it. I actually burned it. Well, I should have burned it by fire. But what I did was I rented it when it first dropped from our Redbox, came home and burned it, and said I'll watch it one day. And I did watch it one day, shortly after that. And it was fucking horrible.
It is horrible. It is horrible. I remember a bad cartoon at the beginning. I think I made it through the bad cartoon into the first episode and first segment, and then pretty much turned it off.
Yeah, I saw it once, and I don't even remember it. That's how bad it must have been.
You know what it is? It's that company, Taurus Entertainment. That's the production company. And
Did you say Tortoise?
Tortoise, yeah. It should have been fucking Tortoise. No, Taurus, like the bull.
Oh, okay.
Taurus Entertainment. They're the same people that put out those Day of the Dead films, that Contagion and that Bloodlines that came out. These people, all of their budget basically goes into buying a title from somebody, and then they pay everybody else fucking nothing. I can't imagine they would, because the production value is horrible, the acting is bad. I mean, terrible. I mean, I haven't watched those Day of the Dead movies, but I watched this, and it's enough to know. Just because they went out and spent the money on this title doesn't mean we should give them the respect of including it in the franchise. I'm sorry.
Nah, the Creepshow franchise is 1 and 2, and I thought it would be fun to rank our segments, the 8 segments at the end, because I think we're going to all be drastically different.
Drastic?
I forgot about that part.
I really do.
It's Easy C. You can do it.
I
Easy
really
C.
do.
It's like a new rapper.
Easy C.
Yo, I'm Easy C. I'm here with B and D. We're going to do Creepshow 1, 2, not 3.
Not 3.
Boom. That's good. So, yeah, you know what? I'm going to say one quick thing about, and then we won't talk about that piece of shit anymore. A lot of people think that Tales from the Dark Side is Creepshow 3. Like, it was going to be Creepshow 3, and then they said it's Tales from the Dark Side. Have you guys heard that story before?
Yeah, we told it on the show.
Yeah, and didn't they use one of the stories that they were going to use for Creepshow 2 and Tales from the Dark Side?
This is true, but it's misinformation that people think is fact. This is the story. Because I'm such a Creepshow head, I know this stuff.
Since you're such a creep head.
And a creep head, yes. And a creep. All of that, all the above. But this is the deal. 1982, 83, the same time era. When Creepshow came out, that's when Tales from the Dark Side, the television show, came out. And if you notice, they are both helmed by George Romero. So they were kind of hand in hand. Thank goodness they didn't call Tales from the Dark Side Creepshow, because the production value is completely different. It was low-grade television stuff. The show isn't bad. I'm just saying, to compare that to Creepshow is just, laughable to me. But they came out at the same time. Then Creepshow 2 came out. The Cat from Hell, which appeared on Tales from the Dark Side later, was supposed to be in Creepshow 2. Stephen King wrote it. And initially it was going to be shot and included. But because of budget, they decided not to do it. They just went with 3 stories. Because, Creepshow, the original, is 2 hours long. Creepshow 2 is an hour and a half. So apparently it was a budgetary decision, and they decided not to do the Cat from Hell. And there was something else about bowling alley, some crazy shit.
Yeah, I remember reading that.
Yeah. That was also supposed to be in Creepshow 2. So it was supposed to be 5 tales like the original.
And that became Gutter Balls.
Now you're, well, I can't say, but see, now you're giving Gutter Balls too much credit, but I don't know. Fucking Gutter Balls, motherfucker. What a fucking movie that is. How many fucking times did they say fuck in that fucking movie?
Oh, you don't have to fucking tell me how many fucking times they say fuck. I fucking hate that fucking film.
Good God. They're going to tone down the Fs. But anyway.
It's like our Sleepaway Camp retrospective.
Oh, boy, huh? Ooh, off the hook, I know. But anyway, Creepshow. So what happened was this. Creepshow 3 was slated to come out. At the Cannes Film Festival, there was even a promotional sheet. And it had, when production companies and whoever goes to Cannes, they're promoting their films. On that sheet was Creepshow 3 and Tales from the Dark Side, the movie, at the same time. There was plans to do both of them. Ultimately, Creepshow 3 did not happen. Tales from the Dark Side, the movie, of course, did. The Cat from Hell went into Tales from the Dark Side. Romero was involved. King wrote that. So therefore, people think that was supposed to be Creepshow 3. And it's not true. So I'm just putting it out there to kill a myth. Because Tom Savini kind of started that a few years ago, and he said that the real Creepshow 3 is Tales from the Dark Side. But, it's really not. I wish there was a Creepshow 3, but I guess Taurus Entertainment owns the rights.
Hey, Tom, stick to being like an asshole to fans at all the expos.
It's very mixed reviews with him, isn't it?
Yeah.
Some people either love him or fucking despise him. I guess you catch him on a bad day.
Admittedly, when I saw him again, I go back to 1991 when I actually spent time with him when you didn't have to line up anywhere, and he was fan-fucking-tastic. But that's because you haven't been to 500 of them, and you're not waiting. I don't think I would love having a lineup of people. Yeah, at first it'd be great. Hey, there's a lineup of people to see me. Yeah. But after 10, 20 expos, you'd be like, okay, how many times can I tell the same fucking story over and over again? It's the same guys
doing the same shows year in, year out, because they're probably making more money doing this than they ever did working in film.
Well, that's the other thing. I couldn't even imagine charging for my autograph in a picture. That's how they make money, but I just can't
Robert Englund's got to be making more money at $80 to $100 an autograph than he's ever made playing Freddy.
You're probably right, man.
I guess power to him if people want to pay that. I just can't believe it.
Yeah, no, the prices have gotten crazy.
Well, did you just say that you couldn't imagine doing that? If you were in the position, would you? If we make this movie, if we ever get off our ass and we have
free autographs from me.
Yeah.
And we free autographs. Okay. So
Lloyd Kaufman and what's his name? Adam Green. Do free autographs.
This is what it's. You get my autograph for free. The movie's $100.
Nice.
I got to make it first. You got no product to sell.
Right. Yeah, of course. We'll get there. I'm just hoping we'll be famous someday. I don't want to be famous. I just want to be rich. Fuck fame. But that's,
Yeah, I'll take rich any day.
Yeah, fuck fame. I don't even want to leave the house barely. Forget about famous, Just give me the money. There is something I want to say.
I think I'd be a famous prick. Wait, a prick if I was famous.
You're a prick now.
Yeah. So imagine fame.
A famous prick, like John Holmes.
Yeah.
Only half the size.
Oh boy, here we go. On the subject of Creepshow, I want to stick to this because this is something that people don't know about. It did not end with Creepshow 3. Taurus Entertainment actually was going to start a web series. In 2009, they actually put one out right before Halloween. I think it was the 30th or something. They put out a show, the debut episode of Creepshow Raw, and it was on IGN website, the video game website. And
really,
believe it or not, it was directed by what's his name, the guy that plays Fez on that '70s show, Wilder Valderrama. But here's the funny part: it's good. It was a good episode, much better than anything that was in Creepshow 3, which isn't hard to do, but still.
That's a good idea.
It was a great idea. I don't know what happened because it was good. You can find this. Just Google it. You can watch it. I've seen it, and it was surprising. I thought it was going to be awful. Surprisingly, it was good. I was like, wow. They even went for the old vibe of the first Creepshow with the comic book stuff. With whatever money they spent on it, it was used wisely. And it's the same company, which is so surprising, but they did good in the web series format. Now, Creepshow is supposedly coming to Shudder. You guys know, obviously, you guys know this. I'm not telling you anything new. So it is coming back. Unfortunately, it's not the movies, and my hopes aren't that high because it's not, rest his soul, it's not Romero, obviously. I don't think it has anything to do with Stephen King. I know Nicotero is involved, and that's really all I know. I'm not going to front. I don't know. We'll see.
Wait, is Stephen King going to be involved?
I don't know. Maybe.
Because, that could still give it the essence of Creepshow, considering he, wrote the Creepshows.
Well, absolutely. At the end of the day, you could just use different directors, kind of like Masters of Horror. And I think that would be a smashing success. A smashing success.
Smashing.
See? Only a prick would say that.
Nice. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled, folks. Bottom line is we're not doing Creepshow 3. We're doing quite the opposite when we talk about Hereditary. Doesn't fit the vein of Creepshow whatsoever, but it is a Patreon pick that somebody, Rafael Gardo, if I'm not mistaken, wanted us to see, and we promised him as soon as it became available, we would watch it and review it. So this is the only time, as long as I'm on that subject, let's get into it. After this show, we're balls deep in big franchises for basically the remainder of the year. Actually, anything you hear from us in October, November is going to be major franchise stuff, long shows, marathons. We're not going to have time to do anything else as far as, triple R's or anything involving Patreon. People that are in Patreon hopefully got the notification we put up shortly, a little bit before August. A little bit before September.
Don't pull your funds, though. Just leave the funds in there.
They have. Everybody's been pretty cool, so it's okay. But we had to give them a heads up. Hey, listen, we're doing nothing except these franchises until December, where we're the first week of December or whatever. It'll be our 3rd year anniversary show, and it's just going to be fun stuff with a couple. I think there's a triple R that's owed, and if so, we'll do it then. But we're going to have fun. And the next show after that is Christmas show. Then after that is the end of the year, and then that's it. That's a wrap.
And we even pushed back one of our big idea shows for this year to next year, which is the Is It Horror episode.
Right. It was just too much.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm glad we did that. I think it'll be great to start off the new year with something like that.
Hey, maybe that could be the whole year. Maybe that's our theme next year.
Is it horror? Huh?
Wow. Is it horror?
Not a bad idea. Tackle, 1 or 2 movies each episode.
We turn that and do triple R's throughout the whole year. It doesn't have to necessarily be 2019 films, although, of course, we can incorporate that. It could just be, what we've watched in that time frame. But the year is dedicated to Is It Horror. We'll finalize that off air.
Wow, that's a good one. I like that because every show we can go back to the old format, have some fun, do two movies, one new and one older. Is it horror movie? I don't know. Wow, yeah, some trips. Indeed.
That's why you keep me around.
Fuck yeah. Oh yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Shit. Patreon.com/explodingheads. That's what it is. We'll be on there. There's still gonna be stuff on there. We're just, unfortunately, we're unable to fulfill any obligations as far as watching and reviewing certain movies until the first week of December, and then after that, not until we come back next season. I'm sure you guys want that anyway. You're gonna enjoy the shows, we hope, the franchise shows, and we're gonna have fun doing what we want to do. So, here's an email we have from Scott Allen. Hi guys, just recently discovered your podcast on a recommendation from a friend. I love it. I've only seen 3 Argento-related films, Suspiria, Inferno, and Demons, particularly with the first 2. I don't know if this will make sense to anyone else, but while watching those 2, I felt as if he made both films just for me, and or as if I was the only person who had watched them. I felt isolated and alone, a feeling that went beyond the fact that I watched them alone. It greatly added to the creepiness. Both movies are great, and a movie has never made me feel that way before. Just putting my thoughts out there. All good if you don't include my email on air. Well,
we'll cut that out.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the email, and those are 2 good examples. I think I could agree.
I think Argento films in general are like that.
Absolutely.
They really isolate the viewer. I totally understand that.
Well, I would say, like, when Tenebrae, not so much, but I love it. I'm just saying I don't get that same feeling. I think the 2 examples that he picked, I'd be interested in what he had to say about opera, because I don't know if that necessarily isolates you. I'd be interested in seeing his thoughts on that, and if he goes back to check out some of his earlier works as well.
I agree on the fact that I don't think a giallo will necessarily give you that same feeling. Like Suspiria, obviously, it's a special movie to me, so I feel what he's saying there, and obviously many other people. Inferno, because of how artsy it is, I could see being sucked into that as well. I think I'm glad he shared that with us. But since you mentioned,
I find that with Argento in general. I find that with Fulci films, the Gates of Hell trilogy. I don't know. I get it. I could see it isolating more people than not.
It's a good feeling, right? It's not a bad.
Oh, it's an excellent feeling.
Right. It's cool.
It makes it more terrifying.
I'll say that one of the movies tonight made me feel like that. So
yes, yeah, absolutely. I think it
Creepshow 2.
Everyone. Yeah. Oh yeah. Creepshow
2. Yeah, the raft. I felt like I was right on the raft with him.
Hey, Dave. Thanks for the ride.
Yeah.
Nice. But since you mentioned opera, this is what he says at the end of the email. My next Argento film will be opera, based on what I've heard about it from you all. Then he sums it up. Keep up the amazing work, fellas. You fucking skunks. Scott Allen. Nice.
Great.
Thank you, Scott. Skunks,
welcome to
man. I love it. He knows us.
Yeah, right. He's balls deep into the show. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yep. And balls deep is apparently going to be my phrase tonight. I don't know.
It's okay. It's okay. There's always a phrase that seems to be a running theme of each episode as well. But opera, as you well know, we all came in really high on that, even with the Manicarino ending.
Yes. The Manicarino ending. That's right. Awesome. Well, Scott, after you watch opera, send us another email where we welcome them. That's for damn sure. Very cool. Now, new patron. I'm going to try not to butcher the name. Dan Stroshine. I believe that's how it's pronounced. So thank you. Thank you for joining.
Thanks, Dan.
And
thank you, Dan.
Sorry, guys. Yes. Again, speaking of Patreon, we do have to get into a Derek B. RRR Patreon choice. We may as well kick it off with that. This is the movie, right? It's what's it called again? Slashers.
Slashers, yeah. Derek actually did something interesting this time, which I thought was cool. He picked 4 movies, and he put a poll up in our group and let the group decide from the 4 movies, and Slashers from 2001 was the winner.
Nice. See, guys, another reason to be in the Facebook group page. Go on Facebook. I don't care if you just make up a fake name like I did, Dave Z-E-E, and you just go on there just to get involved in the group page because, it's fun in there. And you can, if you're a listener of the show, if you're really into what we're doing here, Get on there and you can get involved in voting and all the other ridiculous shit we do there. And cool shit. Get on there. Mike, balls deep.
Balls deep.
Let's get into it.
All right, let's do it. Slashers from 2001, written and directed by Maurice Devereaux. A black comedy horror film in which 6 random contestants are put into a game show where they'll face evil clowns, evisceration-happy doctors, and wild maniacs. The winner has to survive the terror by being resourceful.
I got to tell you, the first time I ever watched this, it's a hard movie to review because there's not much to it, but I thought it was kind of ahead of its time.
It is ahead of its time because it's early 2000s. It's poking fun not only at the reality television, specifically the Japanese reality shows. If you've ever seen any clips of them, I don't know what the hell's going on in those, but they're crazy. But also, poking fun at humanity's obsession with violence in television.
If the acting was a little bit more grounded, I think we would have a special movie here. I mean, It's literally, you are watching the reality TV show, so you away you know it's going to be video production, but it works because it's set up as you're thrown right into the show. It's like you just turned on an episode of Slashers, but we're watching the unedited feed. So you're watching the TV feed instead of it cutting a commercial. We're actually seeing what would happen when they make the actors freeze during commercial breaks, which I thought was actually kind of clever as well.
Yeah, that was a cool little.
However, the acting is fucking wretched.
It's some of the worst acting I think I've ever seen in a movie. I really don't think I've seen much worse. I mean, it's terrible, but the movie does have a charm to it. I had a lot of fun watching it.
It's way too long for its own good.
It is a little on the long side. It could have been 10, 15 minutes shorter.
Absolutely. It is Canadian too, and I'm almost embarrassed to say it, but there is, like you said, there's a little bit of charm here. Will I ever watch it again? As soon as it finished, I'm like, would I ever watch this again? And the answer is no. But did I enjoy what I watched? Most of it.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll sum it up right now. If this movie wasn't gory, you wouldn't even care to watch it.
Absolutely. You're right.
The gore is the saving grace of the film.
Yeah, and I think that's the intention of the film, to be a gore film.
And I love it for that.
Yeah,
I'm not saying I love the film, but I love that aspect of the film.
Well, this again, guys, this is before Saw and everything else where gore became more mainstream and accessible within a theatrical realm. And here we had a direct-to-video, I'm assuming, flick.
Yeah.
I'm making a lot of assumptions there with that part, but it actually would only work on the small screen, I think. And it's really gory, and some of the gore effects, they really do deliver. Like some of them are a little chintzy, but most of them really actually work. I love the fact that they will try to work within the fact that the camera's running without cutting, or they'll hide the cut. And so it really is, the Tom Savini method is, it becomes a magic trick. So where the real actors or actor gets switched out for the rubber version of them or whatever it may be, so that a spike can go through their head and then blood will flow and pour out of their body. Really well done. And Dave, you nailed it. If they didn't have that, or if you saw some sort of edited version of this.
Right. You would not want to. And I do think it's clever about the commercial thing. But my major complaint isn't even the acting. Because in a film like this, I'm a little bit more forgiving because it's reality-based, so to speak. So I can see it being, I don't know, it isn't like going to watch a film like Hereditary and seeing bad acting. You know what I mean? If I see a film like this and there's bad acting in it, I'm a little bit more forgiving. So yes, it is bad acting, but that's not my biggest complaint. My biggest complaint is the beginning. The way it starts is really cool. And we meet that little sweetheart Miho, and you have all the Asian game show, and you have all that stuff, and all that stuff, the introduction of the characters and all the TV format stuff going. And as soon as they get inside, they completely abandon the TV format. I think they dropped the ball in that aspect. I think they could have done things with commercials and with checking in with them and talking to them. Maybe you know what I mean? You guys get what I'm saying?
I totally get what you're saying. They kind of stuck with the one cameraman who became a character himself and didn't really go back to Miho or really outside of the game itself.
I think you've nailed it. I think actually if they did that, that would have probably helped with the pacing of the movie. They could have had multiple camera people, and they could have actually made it work better.
Yeah.
I think the single camera works against the movie. So I agree, Dave. I think they could have played and actually showed us commercials and made those fun commercials to watch too.
Yeah, especially since, I mean, I like the characters. They did it where it's a special episode where it's American actors for the first time and they're competing for like $12 million. And they did a good job with giving each one sort of like a backstory as to why they're there. But they could have focused less on the conversations of that because the acting was so poor. Like, I didn't care that Megan's a political martyr or that, Rebecca has MS or, this one was former military, whatever. Like, they could have done, it didn't come off. They were trying to play it serious there, but because the acting was so bad, it came off goofy. So I agree, Dave, that if they had focused more on the commercials and keeping it like they did at the beginning, where it just opens up with that commercial with that big slaughter, and keep it more fun and goofy like that and over the top.
You know what? In fact, it needed that, Dave, because I think it shows its cards all within the first 10, 15 minutes of the movie. So that nothing changes after that point. Once you get the setup, the goofiness of the game show setup, and then they get in there, as you said, they abandon that. So that's the movie. Now we're in there, and other than it cutting to a different Spirit Halloween cardboard cutout set, then that's it. You just go down like, hallway number 1 versus open gymnasium 2. And that's all it does. It just switches back and forth. There's literally 2 sets here, and they spend like 10 minutes in each hallway.
It looked like a haunt. It looked like a Halloween
That's
haunt.
what I meant. Like the Spirit Halloween haunt. Yeah.
It really did. And the thing, they could have even ripped off movies, and I would not have cared. Even if they would have gone back and had people betting on how long they were going to last. And yes, we've seen it before, and it would kind of be aping like the Running Man and shit like that.
Yeah, low budget Running Man. That's what I was thinking.
But who cares? Why wouldn't I think that would be better? It would break up the monotony.
You just want Dynamo to sing in slashers.
And you want to play that character. I think imagine that they go to Dracula's castle or whatnot. Instead of it just being a hallway, it's like all decked out, and then it could go into like a totally different. It's almost like they go into a different sort of subgenres of horror. But you're right; it's just dressed as like a Halloween haunt.
So the concept is really good, but the execution is poor. But who knows I don't know what the budget was for this, but I'm sure it wasn't big enough to be that ambitious.
135,000 American, it seems.
Yeah, that doesn't seem big enough to be as ambitious as your idea.
It's still, that's considered still very ultra low budget, but
yeah,
very, very Canadian, and it's weird because can you recall seeing a Canadian film that was trying to pass itself off as an Asian anything?
No, and that's why. How can you say very Canadian? I actually was shocked that this was Canadian when I looked it up. I'm like, oh my god, this is made in Canada, filmed in Quebec.
I shouldn't have said very Canadian. What I meant to imply was that I could tell that the actors were Canadian just because of where I live and my interactions with Canadians. It didn't take long. I was actually happy because they shouted out Buffalo. One of the characters is from Buffalo. I'm like, yeah, nice. So then they go on. It didn't take long before I heard one of the characters say sorry. And as soon as because of where I live, that I'm privy, I can pick up on Canadian accents immediately, just the way you can pick up on people from Buffalo probably immediately. It's the way it is. We talk a little bit different. For me, I heard a few things like, okay, these are Canadian actors. And then I looked it up, and sure enough,
all the slashers. So the 3 monsters that are hunting these contestants down, they're actually great.
They are.
Their over dramatic acting works because they're kind of in character. So I thought they were fantastic. It's just that like that main girl, Megan Laurie, I think
Rebecca.
She's no, I think it's her name's Megan. She's got a scowl on her face that just like from right from the get go, you're just like you're overacting out of the gate.
Yeah,
I'm not an actor, and I wouldn't be like,
Two of the villains were played by the same actor.
Well, that would help then too. I didn't even
know. Really?
Yeah, two of the villains were. I think the Preacher Man and Chainsaw Charlie were played by the same actor.
Oh, wow.
Dr. Ripper was his own thing. Dr. Ripper was a very creepy, rapey, gave me a very rapey vibe.
Well, yeah, you wanted the girls undressed every second.
He's every time he gets to a girl, he's just taking their shirt off, and that's it.
It is creepy.
It was.
I know we always talk about, hey, back in the day, it was really kind of nice when girls would get naked, but this was creepy. Like you're like kind of like, I don't know if I want. Like it wasn't enjoyable.
Yeah, you're right. There was no payoff, and it wasn't done with any comedy. It was just. Yeah, it was just creepy. You're right. That is how it played out. And my one complaint, it's just a funny observation. I kept thinking of freaking, when Chainsaw Charlie was speaking, I kept thinking of Mr. Hanky from South Park. Howdy ho!
Yeah.
That's what he sounded like. He put it on a little bit too thick. Howdy ho, Kyle. You smell an awful lot like flowers, But
that was really clever that you saw that he had the zapping device on him too, so he had to cooperate with the game show the way the contestants did. I thought that was a cool little thing that they were kind of just doing their jobs also.
Yeah.
I mean, the doctor whatever.
Dr. Ripper.
Dr. Ripper was insane, but Chainsaw Charlie seemed to like almost just be doing it for money. He even mentions, I have a family and I'm...
Yeah.
Like I said, there is some interesting stuff here. I know there's a lot of people that don't like when people say, oh, it's too long for its own good. But the reason I say that is because there's certain movies that just overstay their welcome. This happens to be one of them. Where, because it's kind of the same thing drawn out, they either needed to do what we already said, Dave, and not to be repetitious, but what you brought up earlier, which is cutting back to the outside world, and whether it be betting or whether it be contestants in the audience that had all the signage talking about why they love their certain favorite slasher or whatever it may be, then cut into a couple of wacky toilet commercials that they seem to love in Japan or whatever. Just something to cut away from it all, but keep the goofiness alive, to break it up, because then it doesn't seem so monotonous. And that's it. At the end of the day, that would have done it.
They could have thrown those faux cigarette ads at the end that they had into the commercials.
Right.
Because I love those. Those were great. They could have had those spread throughout the movie, along with, what you said, interviews with fans and with maybe previous contestants or whatever.
It really could have improved the film, because the acting you're not going to save. So anyone can say cast better actors. That's all well and good. But if you would have had good commercials peppered in and more game show type atmosphere, this movie could have been what I would say a really good movie. Unfortunately, I don't think it's a really good movie. It's a decent movie with really good gore.
It's a fun, low budget gore film. It's got cool kills, cut in half, decapitations, throat slits, and they're awesome. And it's got some goofiness to it, and it's got a cool little twist that you can see coming. But I enjoyed it, among the contestants, because once all the killers are gone, then the contestants start to turn on each other, which is an interesting little commentary in itself. Not to be taken too seriously in a movie like this, but it was fun.
But it elevates it. I think it does. It just gives it a little boost. And this director, I don't think we've seen the end of what they could do, because they did End of the Line next.
End of the Line, and End of the Line is fantastic. That's a great film.
So, he's done 4 movies, like Slashers being his third, and an End of the Line, and then nothing since.
Yeah, which is shocking, because End of the Line is such a underrated film.
Matter of fact, we covered it on ABC's A Hidden Horror on our E episode. So if you guys want to know about End of the Line, there's a plug. Go check it out. Right here on the Horrorphilia Network. Okay. but I have to give Brian props, because I never have seen that movie, or even heard of it until he brought it to the table on that show. So that's a good flick, End of the Line, and it's hard to believe. No, I shouldn't say it's hard to believe. I mean, if you have a bigger budget and better actors, you're gonna do.
Yeah. No, you can see the effort in this film, and that's, I think, why I like it more than what it is.
I'm a stickler for the acting might actually make it for certain people. If you're looking for a party movie to throw on, you're drinking some beers and you're watching it, and you're just doing the TGAF 13 running commentary with it, then you don't want better acting. Then this movie is for you. Enjoy. I think it actually lowers it at least one whole point, just at how bad it is. But one thing I'll say is it's consistently bad. So it's not like things change. It's bad, and it just stays that level for the whole time from the acting standpoint.
Yeah.
I guess consistency is one
thing. Absolutely. But yeah, good kills. That's the bottom line. That chainsaw trick on that one girl was amazing. I'm a gore hound, and I respected it.
The decapitation, I think, even capped that.
Yeah, that's true too. Man.
I like when he wears the head on his on his belt loop at the end.
Yeah, that Devin kill. That guy Devin at the end. Man.
Yeah.
That was great too. Good stuff.
That was kind of sad. I was cheering for Devin.
Were you?
Devin was a good guy. He was a military guy.
Yeah. Okay. That was the guy, huh? I thought it was the other guy.
I was on board. It was fun. Like you see, I'll probably never watch it again. I shouldn't say never, but I'm not in a hurry to watch it again. But it was a lot of fun. I could see the effort being put into it. So that made me appreciate it more and probably made my rating a little bit higher than what it should be.
Yeah, wow. I mean, I won't fail the movie by any means because, again, you have to kind of base it on what it set out to do. Mm-hmm. And the wacky Japanese setting, the over-the-top gore, and I guess the play on that whole reality TV thing, like we said, I think that elevates the film. It definitely passes the film. It's not a classic. You know what you're getting yourself into. It's a hard to recommend movie because of the style of movie it is. So if you're looking for gore, you know the acting's going to be crap, enjoy. This movie is for you.
Yep,
I agree with everything you said.
Yep. I'll tell you right now. I am at a 6.25. I went with the 0.25 because of the enjoyment factor. A lot of times I see a movie, I'm like, yeah, that wasn't bad. The gore, good enough. I'll give it a 6. But because of a little bit of the fun, I put in that extra quarter. So there you have it.
That's interesting because I'm actually a little bit lower than that. I'm right at a 6. But I feel like because of the effort that they made, the attempt they made to actually tell a story and have underlying themes and stuff was well done. You know, it's just the acting hurt it and the low budget and the sets and stuff like that. But the gore is great and it's worth checking out. 6 out of 10.
I was at a 5.75, but I think I'm going to boost that up to a 6 as well. And just for all the reasons we just discussed.
Nice. How about that? You know, here's what's funny. When we did the last movie, the last one Derek picked for us, the RRR, Cold Sweat, I gave that a 6. And the reason I gave this the 0.25 is because I enjoyed this more.
That's wow, interesting.
Well, the thing. Remember what I said on that show? I had to watch
you wanted to watch Saw. You wanted to watch Saw the whole time.
Yes, and I want to watch Cold Sweat again. This one I don't necessarily want to watch again. So I think there's more that meets the eye. But the thing is, I had a little bit better experience with this because I'm a gorehound.
Well, it's funny. Cold Sweat is on Shudder, so I just watched it again on Shudder. Just after we had already reviewed it. So anyway, that's Slashers, everybody.
That is Slashers. So I guess we'll get into Creepshow time. Should we take a quick break and then do our... Yeah. All right, Creepshow on the flips. See you guys in a minute. All right, we're back. Time for Creepshow.
Woo!
Woo! Thank you. And I am pretty excited, gotta tell you.
Let's jump right into it. Yeah, Creepshow from 1982, directed by George Romero, written by Stephen King, an anthology which tells 5 terrifying tales based on the EC horror comic books of the 1950s. Now, Dave.
Yep.
You mentioned that you had a song stuck in your head, right? It's not from Something That Tied You Over where he's singing, I'm crazy about Harry.
I'm just wild about Harry.
Wild about Harry.
No, but, I mean, I'll tell you what, I'll play it just for fun since you asked.
Yeah, I want to
know. You know that song?
Yeah, I knew it was going to be.
You knew it was going to be that?
It had to be. What else? What other song could it be?
Don't let go, don't let go, don't let go.
Do you do the Ed Harris dance?
Yes. Yes. That fucking dance. I'll tell you what. That scene is the most overlooked scene in horror because it is every bit as good as the Crispin Glover dance, and nobody talks about the Ed Harris dance.
It's better. In fact, Ed Harris, I don't even think likes to talk about the Ed Harris dance because I'll tell you what. I watched Just Desserts for the first time. And man, I sometimes love watching the documentaries about the making of the film more than the films themselves, but it raised my enjoyment of Creepshow even more than I already did enjoy Creepshow, which is pretty hard to do because I've always loved this film.
And I'm hoping that you guys really looked at it, with the critical eye, and I don't know, like you guys already obviously know how
I think I did. I mean, even with the critical eye, because we did do this on Postmortem when I was on that show for a bit, and I came in at a solid 10 out of 10. Spoiler.
Yes.
But I said, you know what? I'm going to come in. I'm going to watch this fresh. I'm going to try to erase nostalgia. It's easier said than done, and I'm just going to watch it and go segment by segment, and then do my overall rating. So
how can you even not enjoy it from the opening shot? Just you get Tommy motherfucking Atkins right from the very beginning, slapping the shit out of Billy.
Oh,
I mean, right then and there, I'm like, I'm on board. Tommy Atkins is slapping the shit out of kids. I'm on board.
Dude, the first second of the film, it opens. The first thing you hear is this amazing soundtrack, which is so overlooked by John Harrison. This movie, the soundtrack makes this film as much as Halloween and Friday the 13th make that film. That's how high I am on the way the sound is used in this movie. It's so good, but as soon as it starts, you hear that boom, boom, and then you see that jack-o'-lantern in the window, and they go right into it. So you get a little Halloween vibe. You get right in that. You get into that scene. Okay, now I'm going to make a little joke here. Do you guys know what the hell Stephen King's little boy, Joe Hill, actually, is saying in this one scene? Tell me what this kid says. I have figured it out since, but for years, it bothered me. Listen.
I don't like that! That's for me to get your cufflinks on Sunday!
What?
It wasn't like that. You sent me to get your cufflinks.
Okay. On Sunday. You sent me to get your cufflinks on Sunday. But
that's how he found his porno stash. He went into the drawer to get his cufflinks and found Dad's porno stash.
Yes, he did. Yeah, I know that. But all these years, you knew what that kid said in that scene?
No, probably not. But I don't know why I noticed it this time, and I was paying attention because I always thought it was said very weird. But no, I can't claim to have known before this. But it's been a while since I've watched Creepshow.
What about you, C? Did you know what he said?
Actually, I thought he said, "I'm number mates." I was way off.
You know what, Christian? I think it's time for you to tuck in.
So wait, for real though, Christian, all these years, did you know what he was saying?
No, I had no clue whatsoever.
Right?
Yeah.
I bet his friend did, the one who knew Roy was the killer.
I'll ask Brent.
Oh, shit. Because that's always bothered me. And I played it to my wife. I said, what does he say? And she says, I forgot what she said. It was something funny, but it was completely not that at all. I think she said, oh, man, I'll text her. Maybe by the end of the show I'll tell you. But it's always bothered me. But, of course, I use the subtitles.
Yeah. I think from a technical standpoint, just you'd probably not overlook it, but take it for granted how awesome not only the comic panels are, but the switching between cartoons and live action. It's just, when you're looking at it from a critical standpoint, oh my God, it's amazing. It's jaw-dropping.
The type of animation used, I was a huge fan of, and still am.
This is why I always say, to me, it's the film that every other anthology should be judged against, because as much as I love Trick or Treat, this is why, this is my, and I do love that movie, but this is always going to be the pinnacle for me, just because. And I can tell you what, I appreciate this movie more now than ever on this last watch. And here's what's funny. The other day, I happened to watch another film from 1982 that I happen to love. And as I'm watching this movie, I've seen this other movie many times, and I love that film big time. And I'm thinking, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this movie. I can quote this movie word for word. I adore this movie. It's awesome. Maybe I like this movie better than I like Creepshow. Maybe if I did my top 10 movies again, this would finish higher. Then I watched Creepshow 2 days later, and I was like, nope. I love that other movie, but Creepshow is still taking the cake. And
I cannot believe you said that with the thing.
Taking the cake.
Yeah.
Oh!
Where's my cake, Cordelia?
I didn't even mean to say it.
I thought you totally meant to say that.
No, it was not even on purpose. Wow. Whew, the cake. Well, I guess we should get into it. Let me just say one thing, though. But I mean, we should all say something if we want to. Again, the opening shit with it's a great start with everything with Atkins and the creep outside of his bed. outside of his window is fucking awesome. The way that thing looks.
Yeah.
It's such a good trick. It's a real skeleton, by the way. But
yep.
Dressed up with some things. Yeah, it's awesome. And here's what's funny. Did you guys notice when he sees that skeleton, when he sees the creep outside his window, he takes his fist and he puts it into his hand, like as if to say, "I'm gonna get you," like talking about his father. It's cheesy, but hysterical.
Yeah.
Little Joe Hill. Oh, it's great. What do you guys have to say?
Let's talk about Father's Day.
Let's talk about Father's Day. What a great
Bedelia.
Bedelia.
Yeah, the atmosphere in this one probably, when watching this one as a kid, was probably the scariest segment to me because of the atmosphere. Yeah. Yeah, and I was always terrified of that makeup and effects they did on the skeleton, on Nathan.
Boy, Savini.
Ugh.
Oh. It's a great corpse.
Using real maggots. Ugh.
Yeah, right. Good
that
one.
That was a cool little story too about what's his name? The actor who played Martin in Romero's Martin was the skeleton, but he didn't want to have maggots on his face, so they got someone else to do it. I believe a woman who was working on the film. Yeah, and she was and just showing that in the documentary, her trying to manipulate the mouth and stuff. It was just, man, if you haven't seen that documentary, it'll make your love for Creepshow even stronger.
Yes, they did sell it on the side. I think last year they finally sold it. But
Synapse has it finally now.
Okay, Synapse released it separately. Yeah. I remember that. I actually had it from a few years prior when the Second Sight Blu-ray from it's a UK import.
Yeah.
I have it on there. The Creepshow came out there, and it's actually a better quality than the Creepshow here, so of course I wanted it. So I got that, and Just Desserts, the documentary, was on that as well, along with the deleted scenes and some other things. So it's, granted the new one's coming out, so I guess people can hold out to that. It's going to be like a month from now, so.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that it's going to be on there. I can't remember, but you said it. Just Desserts. It's just as good as watching like More Brains or any of those.
Yeah, it's up there with You're So Cool, Brewster.
Right.
With the Pet Sematary one.
Yeah, all those good ones.
Yeah.
Definitely check it out if you guys can. But yeah, the atmosphere and the
colors.
The colors, yes, the lighting. It's beautiful. It's like watching Suspiria.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking when I was watching that, with all the reds and the blues. Just really, really sharp.
So good. And they do it in other chapters in this movie, but not as much as they do here. They really rely on it here for the atmosphere. Oh, man.
And I think, I don't want to say, I think that elevates this segment for me, but because one of my critiques of this segment was I wanted a few more kills.
Oh, really? I never had that issue with this. I mean, obviously, I guess more because it's an anthology and it's a short piece. I thought it was fine. I thought the way that they presented it was great. And again, this is where I mentioned it already earlier in this show, but this is where Savini does his magic trick. So it's a combination of editing and special effects combined with that head twist and everything else. It's just done perfectly.
No, I thought they really did that. They really killed that woman.
It sounded like it.
But I want my cake, you dirty bitch.
Dude, that noise when on the neck twist. Oh man, so good. Oh.
Don't you think Hank could have moved though? Like he lays there for so long.
I know. I've always noticed that. I guess you can pass it off to shock and.
Yeah, he's paralyzed by fear.
Like on this watch, that's what I thought. I wasn't like going, "Oh, come on, move already." I thought he was like, "Oh shit, did I do that?" If
I think he was frozen in fear, and I'm thinking to myself, just get out of the way, but he just can't.
Well, picture being in that situation and actually seeing that thing freaking 10 feet from you. I don't know if I'm in a hurry to get up and go anywhere near it.
That's true.
That's something else. I mean, who knows how fast it is. I mean, this is real life. This isn't a Romero dead film. Well, it is kind of, but I mean, in this guy's shoes, he looks and he sees this thing. He doesn't know how fast it could possibly move. All he does is see, literally, the guy, it's like he's doing a magic trick. He moves his hands around and causes that thing to happen. That's what's cool about that scene.
Yeah. You know what? I always wondered how he came back. I mean, not that you really have to have an explanation for it. I mean, it's a horror anthology, but
and a comic book movie.
Yeah, but the whiskey. Did you read that?
Yes, it's the whiskey.
That's awesome. I didn't know whiskey in Gaelic is translated to water of life.
Yes, and not just the fact that, and guess why it's whiskey? Because he was a bootlegger.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
He was,
It's a cut scene. I mean, she does call him a bootlegger.
She does.
You're a murderer, bootlegger. Yeah. She says that whole thing. But one of the deleted scenes that they cut is when they go into more of the history of him and how he made his fortune and it was bootlegging and all kinds of other shit, just illegal activity, and then he got rich. So, I mean, if he's a it's just like it's just desserts. There you go. I mean,
all these little things, all these little details that they put in, it's fantastic.
And again, with this freaking score, John Harrison, this is I wish more people would do this. He sat down and watched the movie and then composed the score, and you could tell because so many times things match up with the motion. Even like when Ed Harris flicks his match and there's a noise from it. There's stuff throughout this whole thing. Not only is it his own score, but they also had access to the Capitol Records library. They used cues. Maybe 90% of what you hear is John Harrison's compositions.
Yeah.
The other stuff is stuff from the Capitol Records library that it might be like a 90-second song, and they took like 8 seconds from it because they had access to the domain. The only place you can find this soundtrack, if you have Amazon Prime and you have a smartphone or whatever, go and get the Prime app and go into the music there, and you can get the Creepshow extended original motion picture soundtrack. You can only get it there. If you go to iTunes or thing, they just have the regular 8-track thing. This one has 48 tracks. It's basically everything that's there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, such good stuff. Anyway, I'm already being too long-winded. I'm sorry. I love
that's what it's about, man.
Yeah, all right. I just I love the film. How about a Father's Day cake? Has anybody ever heard of a Father's Day cake?
No.
Right.
You know what? I've never even thought about that until this exact moment.
Who the fuck has a Father's Day? I'm going to start having them. How's that?
Oh, yeah, fathers get shafted. Your moms get a Mother's Day cake and whatever. Father's Day, never.
No chance. Only time I get a cake is my birthday. That's it. Father's Day cake. What the fuck? That guy's out of his mind, apparently. I mean, he's making his poor daughter do all that stuff. She's unstable. He has freaking... the girl finally finds love, and the guy has him whacked. You know what I mean? He alluded to the fact that he was kind of obsessed with his daughter, maybe in an ancestral type of way. They said it's like a Freudian relationship. Who knew? But
yeah.
Whew. Happy Father's Day!
The Wandering Ashtray.
Aha!
That's cool.
The Wandering Ashtray. Yes, and it's so funny that Lawrence just put up that thing on the page just a week or two ago. I thought I was going to blow people. Actually, I thought it was kind of common knowledge, but I was going to mention it on the show. But here's the funny thing. So many people responded and said, oh, I never knew that. I'm like, really? People never knew that? Really? I mean, maybe I'm just, because of my obsession with the film, I thought it was common knowledge. Did you guys know about that?
I did not.
No, well, I didn't either, but I love Creepshow, but it's not a movie I've watched a million times. I've probably seen it, maybe this was my 10th time?
Yeah.
I almost feel guilty because sometimes I'm pretty good at noticing things like that.
I'm not, but it features prevalently in Father's Day, and afterwards it's almost just like an Easter egg in the rest of it.
Yes.
So I totally understand why I've never seen it and why other people would probably never notice it, unless they did their research or were diehard obsessed.
I'm gonna go a step further. Most people know that it's in the 5 stories, but most people don't know. And in that meme that was posted, it wasn't there either. Most people do not know that it's also in the wraparound. It's another situation where if you blink, you miss it. But it's at the end when he's poking the voodoo doll, and he has the thing. It's on his desk with some stuff over it. But the little boy has it. So, but it's everywhere. It's there. I guess we could talk about it in the when we see it.
Yeah.
In each one. But yeah, that freaking marble ashtray. Of course, like you said, it's prevalent here. It's the murder weapon. Damn, I love that scene when she's all flipping out, making the cake, and fucking.
She squeezes the icing.
Yeah.
She puts like a freaking 10 tons of icing on that cake.
Nice. And you know what? This is a comic book film, and it plays like one. All of these stories are pretty straightforward for the most part. Some more than others. This is easy. We got these freaking people, you know, and they're all kind of assholes. They're all snotty rich people, and they're just waiting to get the same money that when Bedelia dies that she was trying to get from her father when he died. Although honestly, I don't think she cared about the money. He thought that she did, you know, but whatever. He's some rich crazy bastard, and it is what it is. But the characters in this, they're not meant to be like they're getting what they're supposed to be getting. You know, it's morality tales, and that's what these comics were. These EC comics that these are based off of. But man, it's comic booky like nothing else is. Just even when this one begins, Father's Day, and you see the cartoon and how it cuts into live action. Yeah. Oh man,
it's great. And that jump scare with the hand popping out of the ground, it still gets me.
Oh man, doesn't it? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I do like the transitions too, like when you see in one frame of the comic on the screen, the car's driving away, and then it's driving towards, or vice versa. But I love that how they're showing you the two frames, but the action is continuous. That's great. They do that a couple times.
When Bedelia arrives, I noticed that. It was really cool.
Fantastic.
Oh, and then when they have those cuts and it's just the black and the cartoon stuff, it's straight up like comic book. I mean, they really put everything into making it have a comic book feel.
Yeah.
And nothing else does that. Not the second Creepshow, not anything else. They do it. They tribute a little bit of that when they do in Trick or Treat, actually, of all things, in the beginning. But I mean, nobody else does that. I don't think. I mean, it probably took a lot of time and money to do that, but man, it's so worth it.
Well, the ones, like, even my wife was watching this, and she hasn't watched this before, and she was watching it with me, and she just looked up and go, "Why is it so blue and red?" I'm like, "Well, they're really playing with the extreme colors, and it is based on a comic book." And she right away she's like, "Oh, okay, that's cool then." But the backdrops when like people are in angst or like going and screaming, and then they illuminate the back, and it's exactly like a frame out of a comic book where it's like the
like the PAL.
Yeah, exactly. It's beautiful, and like you said, Dave, no other movie really seems to nail this.
No.
Has any other movie even tried to do this?
I don't know.
I'm sure they have. It's not coming to mind right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm genuinely curious because it's so brilliantly done. You would think somebody would try to at least copy it, but
well, they do it a little bit of it in Creepshow too, just not.
Yeah.
They do it in that one that never. Jason Lloyd sent me the screener of it a year or so ago, Creature Feature, something like that, and I think that was the same idea. They were using like a low rent comic book type feeling where it would transition frame to frame or whatnot, but it's not the same effect.
Yeah.
No one does it like this. I'll tell you what I love. That guy, when he comes up, it's Father's Day, and I got my cake. And they had their reaction, which is great because, again, they go to they show them individually and the lighting behind them and this and that. But the guy goes, "Oh, my God." I fucking love that. I always crack up at that.
Poor Cass. She was such a hog.
Oh, yeah. You know what? This is the only movie Cass made.
Really?
And I thought she was just fine.
She was great in it, actually.
I like her. She's kind of hot. She has real pretty eyes.
I like Cass.
Yeah, especially when she's dancing. Don't let go, don't let go, don't let go. You know?
Oh, man.
I'd love to go do that dance. That's what's great about that dance. It isn't just the dance, it's the music. You know what I mean? When you put that song into it on top of it, and the way they're moving, well, particularly him, oh, it's great. I love it. I want to host a party just so I can play that song at the party.
Yeah.
I really do. If we ever have a party, you know, have our friends and listeners over at some place, and man, I just want to jam that tune.
It'll just be the soundtrack. I love the fact that you guys explained the reasoning why he came back, because I honestly, that would be one question. I never question shit like this. I love just sitting back and watching a movie be presented to me, and then, you know, you fill it in as you're watching. You go, okay, this is the reason why. I never actually really questioned why the zombie came, or why the dad came back.
Neither did I. I always just thought it was a vengeful thing because he was murdered by his daughter.
So it's
but
kind
the
of
whiskey
cool.
thing was really cool.
So I love the fact that you guys brought that up because I never knew that.
Nice. Yeah, it's good. And I never questioned either, but I looked into it. And
movies like this, there's so much trivia and so much added stuff behind the scenes that you could read about, and it's endless.
Yeah. It's great stuff. And,
it is great stuff.
Just, you don't question it because if you're reading an EC comic, Tales from the Crypt or whatever those ones were, that's the way it was. It was people it was morality tales. This happened, and you don't question it. A guy rises from the grave. Granted, he's no better. He isn't like doing the Lord's work. You know what I mean? But whatever. He comes out and he kills because these people are assholes. You know what I mean? That's all there is to it. You don't question it when you're reading a comic. You're just happy to see it. Just like Tom Atkins says, people rising from the grave, people turning into weeds. It just happens. For Christ's sakes. That's why God made fathers.
Into weeds.
That's why God made fathers.
That's why God tuck in.
He's fucking great, man. And I'll tell you, that shot at the end, like with the exclamation points and oh my God, that whole thing. I have all those shirts. I have a shirt for each segment, and it's that comic book. It's that scene from the comic book. It's just the comic part, the one of Leslie Nielsen, his head, and saying, I can hold my breath for a long, long time. And I have all those shirts, and I don't even know if you can find them anymore, but I got them years ago from, I forgot the site, but I'm glad to have them. Man, I got like 6 or 7 Creepshow shirts, so obviously.
Do you have a Jordy Verrill shirt?
You know what? No, there wasn't a Jordy. No, I do not have one. Nope, and the one from the crate isn't the fade-in, but it is from the other 3. Yeah, it's weird.
And how does one tuck themselves in?
I never like to be tucked. I need everything to be loose. I don't like that whole tuck. Don't wedge in. Don't tuck under the mattress. Don't tuck under my legs. Just leave me be.
You don't do that tuck trick like Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs? You tuck in?
I've done that tuck before.
I think we've all done that tuck.
Everybody has.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. You got to do it once.
Yeah. It's fun. I'll tell you what, it's fun.
It is fun.
And then you run downstairs you run in front of the entire family and you go, I'm a woman.
Yep.
It just freaks everyone out.
Oh, you do the opposite. Sorry, that's not Angela. It's the opposite with Angela. But that would be funny to do to someone. Tuck in and then do that Angela growl and go by.
Oh, no, we know what's going on in the Z house this weekend.
Oh, I wish my wife wouldn't think I was a complete freak if I did that. I would do it. What do I care? I can't. Does anybody else have anything else they want to add to Father's Day?
No.
Oh, okay, right. Thanks.
Then let's move on. Yeah. Jordy Verrill, or The Lonesome Death.
Oh, Jordy Verrill.
Tell you what, this has always been the smudge on the film for me a bit, because I love the other 4. And I mean love. There's nothing I would change. Jordy Verrill, there are some things I would change. Doesn't affect my overall view of the movie. Everybody knows, but not everybody, but you guys know how I feel about it. It was in my top 10, whatever. I adore the film. So it doesn't hurt it that much. I'll tell you something. I realized something this time that actually made me like it a little bit more.
Was it meteor shit?
Meteor shit. It's great.
Oh, Jordy Verrill, you lunk.
Yeah, I mean, he's great. He's great as an actor. It's shockingly. I mean, I know it's a caricature, but he does it well. The downfall is this one is the fish out of the water segment of the. I think
it's Romero. I think it was Romero's mistake to tell Stephen King to take this performance to where he did.
Yes, and he said that too on the doc. Yeah. He said, if I was doing it again today, I would make it a little less. I would have it toned down a little. He goes, I literally told him, do it like Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah, exactly.
Really go overboard.
And this is the cartoon one. This is the Roadrunner Wile E. Coyote one. This is the one where the comedy is just over the top.
But in its defense, I could see this being the most comic booky, as in appearing in a comic. Because when you read those type of comics, a lot of the times the characters are goofy that way. Like, picture when he puts his hand over his face and he, you know what I mean? He's got that goofball look on his face. I could see that in a comic. I can literally picture it, someone looking ridiculous. I think this one here is most likely to be in a comic. The story itself and the way it's played out. Like I could visualize. Actually, I don't have to visualize. I own the comic book, but I'll be honest. I have the comic book. I bought it. It came out last year. Actually, I was gifted it. I didn't even purchase it. It came out a year ago. They put it all out. I flipped through it once. Don't remember anything about it, and I kept it intact, and I hung it on my wall in the plastic bag it came in. So I'm not even going by memory or any of that, but I'm just saying that I could picture a comic book where he's having those dream sequences.
Oh, those dream sequences are funny. When all he could dream about is making $200 from this meteor. Right. That's the most he could possibly dream of. He found this alien meteor that crashes to Earth, and he's like, I'm not nothing less than $200. I could pay off my bills, pay off that bank loan.
Yep, pay off that bank loan. That's the ticket.
That's the ticket.
He does pretty good for Wile E. Coyote and going overboard and everything else. It's probably his best performance. Not that he is known to deliver a bunch of lines in any film.
In Creepshow too, he was pretty good as the truck driver.
Yeah, he's in it for 1 second.
Looks like a black guy.
Yeah, looks like a black guy. He goes, guy got cream. That's what happened. Happens all the time. Anyway, that's Creepshow too. But it's usually just a cameo, just a line or two. So to take that and to do it for, as an actor for the first time, I'll have to give him some props because, everybody can't do that.
I'll tell you what, it makes me uncomfortable watching this one. I still get very itchy when I watch it. Man. When he gets into that bathtub, oh my God.
Oh.
I cringe.
This is the shortest segment, right? Because it definitely feels like the shortest segment. I just assume it is. So that's why I never have a major problem with it, because it feels like you're in, out, done.
And quite dark at the end.
Yeah.
That's what it is at the end. Are you talking about the actual, what he does to himself?
What he does to himself, yeah. That shot of the shot is...
The double shot, yeah.
The double shot. Double shot Jay.
Yeah. Here's the thing. When I was a kid, I never understood why he was saying, "Please, God," and "let my luck be in just once," And I'm thinking, what does he want to be lucky with? What is he asking for? I literally thought when I was a kid that he was going to try to take that gun and blow the green stuff off his body a piece at a time to give back to him. Because why would he be saying? I understand now. I guess I do.
Yeah, well, you do. He didn't want to survive. He wanted to make sure he actually killed himself.
But when I was a kid, I was thinking, what's he asking God for? I mean, what's he going to do? Blow off one piece at a time and hope to live? I was like, so I thought it was failure. He did that. He fucking But now he did succeed.
Yeah.
I guess that's good.
It's just a major tonal shift because the whole thing is goofy, and then all of a sudden he's got that creepy voice that you just did, and he's ugh.
How about that voice? It's throughout the whole film. He does that voice. Nathan does that voice when he comes out the grave.
Yeah.
You know who else does it? Joe Hill again at the beginning when he says, "I hope you rot in hell." It's everywhere. They do it in freaking Something That Tied You Over. Ted Danson and Galen Ross do it when they come back. They all have that little extra thing, and it's only exclusive to this movie as far as I know.
Yeah, that raspiness.
Yeah, it's cool. It's like the Creepshow rattle, know?
Yeah.
I just pictured a fucking toy rattle for a kid.
Have either of you ever mixed a drink and then mixed the drink with the entire liquor bottle?
I want to. So
right? I love that scene.
Every time I see it, I think, man, I want to do that once in my life.
I thought the exact same thing. Funny enough.
And I love vodka, so I could easily get some orange juice in the vodka and just pour it in there. And,
I'd make myself a screwdriver like that.
Yeah. I'm going to do that too. When we have the party, we're going to play Don't Let Go, and I'm going to stir drinks with the bottle. Because I'll have to be pissed drunk to dance around and go, "Don't let go." But yeah, I'll tell you what. I think if you took out or shortened those dream sequences, it would improve. That's where it gets real goofy to me. It's a little too much to me.
I like when the doctor, when he's just sliding by in his chair.
I like that, and I like when he goes, "This is going to be extremely from Mr. Tickle." And he's, that kind of freaks me out how he rubs his thumb up against the blade like that. Ooh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like nails on a chalkboard to me, a little bit. It's just, I don't know.
Well, I watched the extended scenes on YouTube. That I know that you were talking that there was a work print years ago available that had those scenes, I guess, kind of put back in. Admittedly, I'm happy they took them out because a lot of the stuff is just repetitive anyway. And I thought some of the extended daydream stuff that was in this segment didn't need to be there.
Agreed. And
I'm not disagreeing with you that maybe even more should have been trimmed. And
right.
Not necessarily just from this segment, but from a few of the segments, just to tighten the film up a little bit more so.
I don't understand why his father is the same guy as the doctor and the guy in all the dream sequences. It's a little weird, no?
Yeah, I don't know.
Should have been different. Yeah, I can see that one guy being the same in everything except when he's revealed to be his father. I don't know. That's just something I've always noticed. I'm like, why is his dad in every dream? But I don't know. Maybe he just has his dad on the mind. I
don't know. Is that camp or kitsch? That's stupid.
That's stupid. Awesome. Oh, shit, he's skipping ahead. All right.
Hey, look, I'm just segueing us to the next segment.
That's what he's trying to do. I'll say one positive thing. Again, it's kind of clever. What they do with the television and what he's watching on the TV in comparison to what's happening in his life at that time is done with intent, and I think it's done really well.
Yeah, what was he watching? A Star is Born?
Just everything. Every time, whatever he's watching on the TV has to do with the situation he's in. There's like the lines they're saying, and
yeah.
She goes, "Can you understand that?" And you said, No. All that stuff that's going on. And the one thing is like, it's a real positive message from like the church or something, and it says, "You are strong. You're gonna overcome this." All this stuff, and then at the very end it says, "Pre-recorded." So it's not even live. It's a cute little thing, but throughout it. If next time you watch it, just line it up. It's the situation at hand and what's being said on the TV and how it pertains to what's happening to him. It's a nice little, a clever little thing they throw in there that I like. But the thing that I thought about this time, which was really cool, is that this is really like the apocalypse happening. And
This is doomed. This is doomed for everyone.
Yes, and I never really got that before because. I took it as like a tongue-in-cheek, a joke line that, expect lots of rain and it's going to be very green in Castle Rock County and whatever that we get at the end. But if the water on top of that is what causes it to grow at such a, at an accelerated rate. So This meteor lands and guess what? Freaking, it lands and there you go. It's been broken open. It's going to be a bunch of rain. And it's going to wipe, everyone is going to turn into this fucking thing.
Yeah, he immediately feeds it by pouring the water on it, and then it's going to spread out of control.
Yeah, so this guy's causing probably the end of the world. Everyone's going to turn into those freaking things, if you think about it.
It is a kind of a cool last shot, too.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, I enjoyed it more than before because of that realization of, how serious this is, what's going to happen next.
And I guess just to back up my fish out of water thing, it's because it's a one-person show, and because of the amped up Wild D. Coyote acting, I think he still does a great job, but it's the goofiest segment. That's the reason.
By far. I mean, the other ones don't really have comedy in them. I don't think.
Well, yeah, they do, but
subtle,
subtle. Like the daydream sequences in the crate. Is the crate next, or something that tied you over?
Something that tied you over.
Okay, sorry.
Something that tied you over. But even those daydream sequences, I guess, yeah.
Those are pretty funny.
The one is funny with the gunshot. The other one with the necktie, that's not really.
No, the necktie is not funny. The gunshot to the head is funny. But
because of the reaction of the crowd.
That's just a standing ovation.
Right.
No, Billy, everything's fine.
Everything's just fine. Yeah, he's fucking great. Great shot. Bullseye. Anyway, we're jumping ahead. Yeah.
Something to tide you over.
Something to tide you over. Let me just say one thing. This, in my opinion, it's not in my. This is one of my. This is probably a top 5 villain in all of horror for me. Leslie Nielsen's performance, I am in love with it. I feel almost the way I feel about Jack Nicholson in The Shining. It cracks me up.
He's quite evil, and I think even just looking at it outside of what goes on in this story, when he puts the tape away, you could see how many tapes he has, that you could realize that this guy's a fucking lunatic.
This is an amazing segment in the movie. It's perfectly placed within the film, I think, and maybe that's the reason why the Stephen King one, of course, comes before it to set you up for this one. I find that there's no time wasted. I'm glad they did edit down. I mean, could there have been more tightening up, like I said earlier? Sure, maybe we had too many tides come in when they're there, but it works. It works.
No, this one I wouldn't trim. I could think of others to trim from, but definitely not this one.
Yeah, and I'm watching my wording here because I know that you want revelations later of favorites, but I think we're all going to blow this one. But this
I'll
this
say
is
it
the
now
movie.
too. This is one of my favorite segments also.
I love it.
Yeah, I love how serious Leslie Nielsen is. I love Ted Danson in it. I love the whole setup, and just when you think like, how is it going to play? How would he get in that hole? You buy everything. Because he's got a gun, he's like promising that he's going to see the girl again. It follows that EC comic motif of just cheating lovers and revenge.
Yeah. I just don't believe that Harry can bench 300.
That may work on TV, mister, but let me assure you.
Yeah, Richard, man, I'll tell you what, that one thing that made me, I always loved Leslie Nielsen, but man, he's such a prick in this one. But I loved hearing the stories about him with the fart machine on set. That made me just like him even more. Just absolutely. Just to know that he was just him goofy self between takes, because man, he's so evil.
Boy, is he.
Well, he was a serious actor before the Files of Police Squad and Airplane hit and everything like that. Like, he was a serious actor. Yeah. So it was great that he had he could do both sides here, like be serious and then have like be totally screwball comedy.
I think they reference in the doc that he enjoyed doing the comedic stuff much more.
Well, yeah, he was good at both.
Yeah, he is good at both.
I love the subtleties of building up the fact that you see that he's got these cameras that are moving around. It would have been high tech at the time. So like when he's running cable from the back of his car or truck, you don't even question it because he lives right there. He's got a big spool of cable and he's running there. Because at first I'm like, how's he getting electricity down there? I'm talking about when I watched this when I was a kid. Now, of course, you're just like, well, it makes total sense. They don't go into huge exposition as to why, but you see through the security shots and just the cameras turning.
Yeah, and that this is all pre-planned, and that he's done this before, and it just adds to the creepiness of it. Oof, it's just pure horror when you watch the tide come in.
Oh,
just them struggling for breath, and when he's watching her on the television. Ugh.
Do you notice one moment of regret that quickly changes? I've always noticed this with Leslie Nielsen. He's watching it, and her scream almost makes him second guess what he's doing for a split second. It's his acting, and then he gets right out of it. It's like he's having that drink, and he's like mulling over, what am I doing here? But then he gets himself out of it. I've always loved that.
Yeah. Okay. You're talking about back in the house when he's watching it.
Yes. Yeah. When he's watching it back in the house. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. No, I know what you're talking about.
He looked down at his drink for a second.
Yeah.
He looks down and then, acting. Exactly. Fucking great. His performance, I mean, everything that comes out of his mouth is fucking gold. I love it. It's so entertaining when he's being evil and when he's being funny / evil at the same time. You know, just, I don't know. The way he delivers all these lines, man, I tell you. And the fact that Stephen King thought this idea is incredible. It's definitely possible, probable, that this could happen. But who would think that? You know, to come up with that, burying someone up to their body, burying somebody up in the sand so just their head shows, and wait for the tide to come in so they drown. What a fucking idea. Wow. Man.
Yeah.
I can't get over it. Wow. And when they show Ted Danson, that haunts me. Always has. You know how I am about drowning. It's oh, God. When they show that scene and he's there, I don't even know how he does it. You see the air bubbles come out of him. It's like, oh, my God. It's horrendous. And then, have you guys noticed that when that is happening, that red light that starts forming behind him?
Yes.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, that's cool.
There must be what's either his anger or whatever's at play here. The supernatural element, doing what it does, casting its spell. I don't know what you want to call it.
I always thought it was more for the comic effect.
You thought that was comic? When a guy's about to...
No, the comic book effect, like the red behind, almost like transitioning to that anger type of that moment.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess it could be that. The red behind, what is he, a baboon?
Okay.
I want to know, again, this is another one where Ted Danson's character sort of realizes what's happening to him, and then says, I'm going to get you. But that's really the only catalyst of what's able to make them come back. Right?
Yeah.
There's no
whiskey bottle.
Well, but that's it. Like, as we said earlier, there's really no explanations to what happens there. It's like almost like the evil act of the fact that he's murdered them was enough for them to be able to haunt him.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with that. I'm totally fine with that.
That's more than enough. I love when they come back. Oh man, it's so eerie.
Oh.
I love the shot through the fish tank and the reactions of the fish.
Yeah, the fish even gets scared. I love it.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I love how you see the mist come up. And that's kind of like them approaching. I thought that was a great element. And it always contained one of the other scares, like similar to the hand in Father's Day, where he shuts the door, turns, and then they're right there standing. That always used to scare me when I was younger as well. It's expected, but it's so well done.
And the effects with the gunshots.
Man, I'll tell you what. Every time I've watched it, it's looked like greenish, blackish fluid coming out when he shot him. But this time, watching it on my new TV, it was the reddest I've ever seen it. And I was like, wow, that was the intent. So it's weird, but it's the first time I noticed it looking like actual blood. Where just before. Now, I don't think it makes a difference. Actually, it's kind of creepy that it is greenish blackish.
Yeah, I still see it as greenish blackish,
so
but it's still unsettling.
This time,
I gotta get that new Blu-ray.
Yeah, I'm telling you, using the second sight Blu-ray that I have and using it on my new TV, it was different. The color palette was a little bit different just for that shot. I was like, wow, look at that. I'd never seen it look like actual reddish blood before, but it did. So, I don't know.
I think it would have been funnier to see Ted Danson and the actress who played Rebecca see them as zombies digging the hole for Leslie Nielsen.
Oh, wow. No shit, huh?
That would have been goofy as hell.
Digging a hole. Yeah, like a dog in a beach with their paws.
Yeah, with their paws.
It's great. It's so much fun. Everything that comes out of his mouth, he was like, I am not seen at all. He says to and he's like, Ted Danson's like, this has gone just about far enough. And he's like, no, not nearly far enough. He said, he's such a fucking prick. He's awesome. And he's like, I always keep my promises, Harry. And I do have the gun, don't I? I can just rattle his lines and I'll stop because I could just, he is incredible. His delivery of lines, it's so evil, but he's like entertaining himself, but he's also so matter of fact when he's saying things. He's like, you're going to be okay. He says, like, you're going to be okay if you don't lose your head. And he's like, oh, well, looks like she's losing hers, doesn't it? He's fucking great. I get so much joy. I get so much joy from watching his performance. And again, this is what's cool about this whole movie. When people come back for revenge, they're not even the coolest people. Nathan came back. The guy's an asshole, bootlegger, murderer. You know what I mean? He comes back. These people are cheating. Granted, this guy's an asshole and he's possessive and whatever else, but they didn't necessarily have to do it this way. So
no, but you learn. But you see that Leslie Nielsen, that Richard's a killer. He's got a whole collection of tapes. How many people do you think he's killed?
See, I don't know if I buy that just because he has a lot of videotapes that they're all.
Oh no, I believe they're all videotapes of his killings. He adds that to the collection, like he's proud of that collection.
I never thought of that. See, it's like he says, I'm perfectly sane except when it has to do with the subject of what's mine and what's not. And then he goes, I'm not sane at all. Like, as long as you don't try to take what's his, he's not going to kill you.
See, it's funny. I never read it as like he had a collection of murderous videos either. But it did enter my mind this time, Brandon, which is funny.
Yeah.
However, I just took it that he was high tech. And it was just another video he was adding to his collection, not necessarily of murderous videos, but just of, I'm going to put this right beside, Bikini Bloodbath or whatever. I don't know why that was the first title that came to my head. I don't even think that's a movie.
That's fucking great.
I think we've heard that. We've heard that somewhere. Bikini. Was that the name of the movie in Final Girls?
Maybe. I don't even know. I think that's just Bloodbath.
Maybe that was just
Bloodbath or something.
I don't know.
Beach Blanket Bloodbath? Is that a movie?
No.
I don't know.
It's in between Bikini Bloodbath and Beach Blanket Bloodbath that he puts these murderous tapes in.
I never thought that. I just figured he murdered because of this particular situation, which, let's face it, it does drive people to murder. People that are normal or seem normal, that have never committed a crime in their life or harmed another human being in their life, suddenly, when they have a significant other, it happens all the time. That's why when someone dies or is murdered, the first person they question is their spouse. It's just, it happens. So when you're talking about a situation, I never thought of it. Maybe you're right, Brandon. It never even occurred to me that could be it. But he does mention his collection. He goes, I'm going to add you to the collection. He does say that, so it's even more so.
I don't know. I mean, it's just a theory I've always thought about, so he's so evil.
Instead of sex tapes, it's death tapes.
Nice.
Hey, I could get off on either.
We know.
Now just look at the quality of that picture.
Yeah.
He's fucking great. God, I love him. I'm so into his performance that, granted, this movie is filled with great performances if you think about it. That's one of the great things about this movie. I mean, George Romero, it's got to be his best acted movie, period.
I will disagree with you. I'm a fan of some of his other films, but there's always been questionable acting choices in some of them. So yeah, maybe Martin's good.
Well, he got so many great actors on board with this, and they all took it very serious for what it was. So that shows throughout the whole film, and that's why it's so successful.
Yep. Oh, man, it's great stuff. It's showtime! It's fucking great. Oh, shit. And then later on when Ted Danson says it to him, it's showtime! That's fucking scary when they're talking. If you can hold your breath. Holy fuck.
I even love the Ted Danson shot that looks like his head's just in an aquarium. I think that's creepy, too.
Oh, that's what I said. Oh, it fucks me up.
That's with the red behind him, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that was
time.
And he actually shot that with his head in a tank of water.
Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah, they showed it on the documentary. There was a guy with like a oxygen tank giving him oxygen because they were actually filming it. And he had to be.
Freak out, Dave.
I couldn't do it, but I would be okay because of Tom Savini. Tom Savini said I had a third backup. He goes, there was a guy with oxygen. There was someone there with a vacuum that went into the fucking tank. I don't know how good a vacuum is going to work in that case.
What did he have? He had like an axe or a bat?
A sledgehammer.
A sledgehammer.
I had a sledgehammer. Yeah. Just in case those two fucking failed, I was going to smash the glass. Which, if I would have known he had a sledgehammer, I could do it. For some reason, I don't trust a scuba thing. I'm afraid to go scuba diving because I don't know. I think it would fail. But that's why that movie, fucking 47 Meters Down, fucked me up so much. Why I was so into it, because that's such a fear of mine, you know? Yeah. But ooh, yeah, that shot. Holy fuck. But at the very end when he's going crazy, he's great. He's scared and he's fucking laughing and crying and at the same time. Oh my god.
But do you think my one critique is right. I love that. I love his acting there. But right when that first wave hits him, they play that goofy ass music that takes you out. That it's like, it just didn't fit.
Yep, that little bow, bow, bow. Yep.
Yeah, it was just I don't know.
It freeze frames and then it's almost like they're do. It's not that, but it's the equivalent of that, like wow 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 wow.
Yep.
Exactly. That's But still
I agree.
Segment. Still a great segment.
Oh, I absolutely love it. I guess that brings us to the next one, right?
Yes, the crate.
The crate. All because of a fucking coin flip. If this guy doesn't flip a coin, none of this shit happens.
Which it starts right off with. I gotta tell you, although I enjoy this because of the performances,
this is the one that could be edited
way
down.
Too long. Yeah.
Yes,
it's
this
way
is the one
too
that
long, and this is one of the weaker ones to me.
This was never one of my favorites. I think I've grown to like it more. I think the story's a little bit all over the place.
Wow.
Because they presented that here we got Harry and Wilma, who you think are going to be the stars, and then it really turns to be Dexter's story. So they almost present it like a love story between Dexter and Harry, because they're always talking about playing chess together, and they're always together, and they're always eyeballing each other when Wilma's acting up. So it's a little weird.
I'm shocked because I think this is the consensus number one of most people. Everyone talks about the crate.
Well, I think the effects of Fluffy are phenomenal, and the gore and stuff is awesome, but I think the story drags on a little too long, and I think it could have been, I don't know.
You're saying everybody thinks it's one of the best, Dave?
I agree with Dave. I always feel like people like this one as one of the best.
I think if we put a poll up on the thing, it would 100%. I would bet my fucking podcasting future on it. How's that? I'm 100%
I
sure
agree
it would
with you.
win.
But don't you feel like I mean, I love Fritz Weaver, and I love Hal Holbrook, but don't you think this should have been just one guy? That it should have just been like Hal Holbrook?
I'm not saying this because it's my favorite. Because guess what? It's not. I'm gonna say that's a spoiler. But so I'm not sitting here saying, oh yeah, if everyone voted, it would be number one because it's the best and it's my favorite. That's not true. I just always believed that it is everybody's favorite by the way they talk about it. And when I was a kid, I was not that much into it. And everyone seemed to love it when I actually favored other ones. So it just seems that everyone always puts this one in the highest regard of them all. And the weird thing is, as I've grown older, I do love it now. It's not my favorite, but I appreciate it on a whole other level. It's one that I had to grow to love.
Yeah, I think it's a more mature one. You know, it's got the nods to Carpenter in it. You know, with the Arctic Expedition on the crate, it's got nods in it that you appreciate more when you're older and you've seen more horror movies, and you can pick up on the references and stuff like that.
Well, not even so much that, the story of the guy and his wife. Like I never.
How could it have nods to the Arctic Expedition? It came out the exact same year.
That's true.
That stuff I think came out like after. I remember hearing people making references to this, and I'm like, no, I don't think.
No, because it even says proper return to Julie Carpenter. So
okay.
it even says it on the crate, Carpenter.
It does say Carpenter. But the thing is, check it out. Maybe something leaked and they did this as a thing because Adrienne Barbeau at the time was married to John Carpenter.
Exactly, yeah.
And when the opportunity came up to play this part, and guess what? It happens to be this particular one and the one that she stars in.
She didn't want to do it, right? And he made her do it because of Romero, right?
Yes, he said he called George Romero, according to Barbeau in this particular interview. He said, "Oh, you have to do it. He's the master of horror. No, you got to do it. This is George Romero. This film.
Awesome.
Trust me."
That's awesome. One master of horror talking about another one is the master of horror.
Right.
That's
so
awesome.
Cool. So maybe because of that conversation and because of the connection or the friendship or whatever it is between Carpenter and Romero, maybe he told him what he was filming at the time. I'm just spinning my own little thing here, but maybe that's how he was aware of it, and that's why he did that. Or it was a crazy coincidence.
I like this segment. I want to make sure that it's known. I like it. I feel like it just draws out too long, and I think, Brandon, you're right. There's too many characters, so it gets a little muddled. It could have been simplified a bit. The creature design is great for for what they created of the creature.
Yeah, but what Savini did, with Rob Bottin's help is fantastic. But yeah, I just still feel like Fritz Weaver and Hal Holbrook, I feel like it just should have been one character. But it's hard for me to say that because they're both such terrific actors and they both give great performances in this. I think Fritz Weaver is better. I think if he was married to Wilma, it might have just played off, and he decides, in his craziness, I'm going to get rid of Wilma this way, rather than have it, where Harry drugs Dexter and then calls her to come, and the whole story with, he attacked a co-ed and she's hiding under the steps. And
I think it's great. I think it works better because of all that extra stuff in the story. Yeah, man, think about that. Think about the fact that
I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm just saying it just seems a little excess.
It adds to it to me. Like it could have been just a simple creature feature. Now, that was my complaint when I was a kid, is that I didn't like the look of Fluffy. I was like, what do I care about some big monkey? That's not scary.
He does still look like a big monkey.
That's what I thought when I was a kid. I saw that thing and I was like, it's just some big monkey in a box. Why is that such a big deal? That's what I thought when I was a kid. I was not into it. It's the same attitude I used to have about Bigfoot. like when I was a little kid, I never understood why Bigfoot was a big deal. I always think, so what? It's just a large ape that walks around. Why is that such a big deal? It never resonated with me. As I got older, I figured it out. But just so I don't know why, but that's what I used to think with the crayon. I don't care about a big monkey. It doesn't scare me. You know what I mean?
I just like hearing you say big monkey.
I think they need, and again, maybe I'm in the minority here. They needed either a faster segment or a more energetic one. So maybe I have to take back what I said about now for something to tide you over being in the perfect placement, and maybe they should have swapped the episodes.
They were originally swapped.
Really? I didn't know
The Crepe
that.
originally was third, and Something to Tide You Over was fourth, but they switched it.
Yeah. But
that's funny that you said that.
That would have progressed. That would have progressed better based on how I view the segments personally.
Yeah.
I also used to think it was too long when I was a kid, and now I don't. I have the opposite. Everything you guys have said, I said when I was a kid. Now I have a completely different reaction. It's like the whole thing about him and Billy, it ends up being at the forefront. In the beginning, I don't know, when you just see what's going on at the party and this guy in this marriage and she's an asshole and whatever else, you know what I mean? But when Professor Stanley goes, when Dex goes there and the whole thing with the monkey and the janitor and the kid and all that, it is great. But then the fact that Harry, the decision that's made to take this opportunity to freaking have my wife bumped off because of what's presented itself before me, I think is fucking brilliant. That he would think to do that. That just, I think it's so well written because of that. Like, he gets there.
You want to see some punches?
What do you think? This is the Friday night fight? I'll show you some real punches. Oh, fucking, what a performance.
Chicken guts, piggy friends, and shit for brains.
You're a real barnyard exhibit.
Sheep size.
Yep. Piggy friends.
Piggy friends.
No and good at all in bed. When's the last time you were a man in our bedroom? That's what I think is amazing. That aspect. That Henry comes to the conclusion that I'm not just helping my friend here. I'm going to take this opportunity to have this fucking cunt destroyed.
Yeah.
Erased from existence.
They added depth to it and put in the whole friendship story, a strong friendship bond and this, added side story if I can get rid of my bitch of a wife.
Yeah, and I don't think it's homosexual. I think that the exchanging look is that he's close with him. They're good buddies, and he knows the hell.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was just quoting some theories I had read. I believe me, I wouldn't care if it was either way. I never
care.
I never thought it was, but
I don't.
Not on the professor's side. I think the professor. He's hitting on a woman, but I think you might have something on the dude that kills his wife. I forget the characters' names. Henry, because he wants her dead. He finds her horribly annoying. He just wants to sit and play chess, and that's all he has a concern for. And he seems a little annoyed when the professor's talking to that woman, the younger.
You know why? Because they allude to that. His wife passed away, and since then he's had troubles with other co-eds. He doesn't want to see him get in trouble, and he begins to say something, but Billy interrupts and he goes, because he goes, I take it you won't be available for chess tonight. He says, and he goes, well, and the way Dex was about to explain himself, he was even disappointing himself. He goes, I'm just to the point now that, and then they get interrupted. So it's almost like he's disappointed with what he's resorted to. Although, I mean, fuck, I'd be jealous of him. Honestly, he's nailing girls half his age, but whatever. And nowadays that would never fly because it's a different world and he's a professor and there's students. But I'm just saying,
thanks, Bill Cosby.
Yeah, like that's what I read into that.
That's horrible.
He hasn't coped well. His wife passed away, and this is what he's doing to cope with that loss. So he's dealing with struggles of his own. Even though he's getting laid by younger girls, it's more, he's not happy about it. And I think Henry knows that he's not happy about it. And then obviously Dex knows that Henry's not happy with his marriage with Billy. Because, what the fuck? Look at that woman. She's fucking wretched. Good God. She's so good. I mean, what an actress. Holy fuck, she does great in this role. But
yeah, she does.
She's so good that, you hate her. Because there's nothing redeeming about her. She is wretched. She is fucking vile.
Dex is also great. His performance in this, especially when he's cracking up, when he gets back to Henry's.
I don't even know what it was.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess he got his chance.
I guess he got his.
Oh,
he's talking about Charlie measuring the bite mark.
He said he wanted to measure the bite mark. I guess he got his chance.
How about Wilma putting her liquor in milk? That's nasty.
What's that, a White Russian?
No, I don't know what she was. It wasn't Kahlua. She was just pouring liquor directly into milk. That's what she was always drinking. Ugh.
She's just fucking vile. Such a good portrayal, because you just see her in the interview? She's such a sweetheart, man.
Yeah, she is. Nothing like that character.
Right. And pretty girl and everything else. And man, holy fuck. But I don't know. I can't buy into what you guys are saying about. To me, that's the beauty of this of this particular chapter, is the way it all comes to pass and how they bounce back. I'm not bored for a second. I don't think there's anything you could cut. Years ago, I would have 100% agreed, but now it's like I grow to appreciate it more and more. Maybe because I had a marriage at one time to someone that was like Billy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're fantasizing about feeding her to Fluffy.
And I would have, too.
You know what it is? It would have been shorter if it's just one male character, because then it would have stayed at the university, and the whole plan would have been concocted there rather than back and forth and interaction there, even though that scene's great. So it just would have been tighter.
You know what it seems like to me? This is a short story meant to be read by Stephen King. If you look at this story, don't you think you could see this on pages of a book and read it and think it was brilliant? Or no? I mean,
yeah, no.
That's what I
agree with that.
It's almost less suited for film. In a way, I could see where you guys are coming from, in the context of a comic book movie where it's a little long-winded in certain ways. But I guess to me it's not. But I can see where you're coming from. But it seems to me like if this was a novel or a short story, I should say, that it would be great just to read it in a book.
And they keep the lighting motif going. They keep the backdrops, the comic book backdrops going again. I mean, from that regard, I mean, everything is fine. I do find it a little long-winded.
I'm with you, just a little bit.
That's a fair criticism. I mean, you guys both feel that way. And one time I did, so I mean, what can I say? The kills are great though, huh? Fucking when Charlie is in there and his face gets ripped off.
Oh yeah.
All that stuff. And Billy at the end, and when he's trying to set it up, and this is going to be an entirely new experience, he tells her, he gets dirty, he pushes her up against the thing, and he starts to slow down.
He's shaking her, right?
And he starts to slow down, he's going back and forth, and when the thing doesn't wake up, the way he peters out real slow, he's moving her fucking hands. Oh, it's great. She's like, oh, that's just great, Henry. That's just great. Oh, God.
Well, this thing hasn't eaten in like years and years and years, and suddenly it devours 3 people in one night too. It's comic booky. I understand, but
it is what it is. It's not meant to be examined that way, but yeah, I do think it is funny. Okay. How about when that kid though, when Charlie in the beginning, the student, he's like, he goes, they're gonna think you're off on a hell of a toot. He's like, they'll think we're both on a hell of a toot, and then he tries to blow him off. He's like, I'm going to go over here and see how the land lays. And when the guy gets killed, the fucking Mike the janitor, and the blood runs down and causes freaking the outlet to freaking the electricity to blow.
Yeah.
Do you think that would happen? I never thought about that. Do you think blood, because it's a liquid, could actually cause electricity to fucking blow like that?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, probably, I guess.
It's one for Mythbusters, I guess. All right, well, I guess we don't want this to be as long-winded as the film is. I guess we can move on unless you guys have something else.
Nah, interestingly enough, the next one I would always skip as a kid. I would never watch the last one only because I was terrified of bugs and insects.
It does freak me the fuck out. And you know what? This almost didn't make it. They had to beg them to do it. They had to make some budget cuts. They had to get the cockroaches from somewhere else. They had to, instead of being an apartment or a regular apartment, they had to build a studio apartment where everything was white, and they had to.
Yeah, you know what? when I heard about that it was supposed to be just like a regular looking penthouse, I think it would have been even more terrifying because this looks almost like a futuristic sci-fi lab that he's living in.
Oh, but I love that. I love that, and this creeped me out. I skipped it too, Brandon. It's so funny that you said that. When I was a kid, because kid, when I went skiing, some kid had the comic book from back in the day, so the original version, and he let me flip through it. And when I got to that last one with the cockroaches, I started gagging reading the comic book.
Yeah.
So I had so when I started getting into horror, I was very weary about watching that one. And the effects did live up to gag-inducing quality. So the first time I watched this, maybe even the second time, I would have to like kind of look the other way because of when the cockroaches sort of explode out of them. This is Creepshow.
Yeah, this is definitely Creepshow, and E.G. Marshall's great. He's such a prick in this, but man, is he funny.
Oh, another one.
Yeah, another one where it's another Leslie Nielsen type of one.
By the way, where did you get my private number?
I don't give a fuck if you decide to take the kids to Attica.
Yeah. Next year, you can take your kids to Disneyland on your fucking welfare check.
Go out and fuck somebody, but wear a rubber.
Everyone's got the damn herpes these days.
Everybody's got the. I like when he calls Mrs. Katzamar. He's like, Mrs. Katzenjammer?
Yeah. Norman Casimir killed himself tonight. Oh, that's fucking great. Never run good news into the ground, he tells us. Wonderful. Now we won't have to offer the old bastard a seat on the board. He is fucking great. Another perfect character for this. Another vile fucking human being that gets his comeuppance.
What a trooper to do this, because there's no way. You could offer me all the money in the world. There's no way I could ever film this segment. Even the people on the crew were talking about how they didn't want to do it, but after a while they got so used to it because they had, hundreds of thousands of these cockroaches.
I couldn't do it either, man.
I don't think I could do it. Some of those fuckers were huge.
Oh my gosh. Oh, they were disgusting looking. Oh,
but I love the futuristic penthouse.
Me too.
The whole super clean, everything white. The guy's a germaphobe. I think it adds a whole other element. So I love it, and it's sort of half crazed. Like they kind of explained the craziness in this one. There's that weird little power outage.
Yeah,
and then all hell breaks loose, and everything sort of starts up again. I think this is a perfect final segment.
I don't dislike that futuristic setting. I just feel like it would have been more effective and even creepier had it been a everyday penthouse, looking living room, looking kitchen that we lived in as kids, at that time.
I couldn't disagree more.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I'll tell you why. Because half of what Christian says, the story of him being a germaphobe and everything else adds to it, but the look of it, everything is white. You can see every follicle, every leg on every cockroach. You're not going to see that in a house. It's just going to be a regular apartment. You're just going to see you'll see cockroaches on the couch and they'll blend in with it. But here, where everything is just white, it just makes everything. It does make
the roaches pop more, but it just looks too futuristic for me.
I don't think it's supposed to. The intent is futuristic. He wants everything white because he's a germaphobe. He wants to see everything.
Yeah, he's got the bright lights. He probably keeps it freezing in there. He's all bundled up, just so no insects could even survive in there. But yet he's infested anyway.
Which it's crazy, and $3,200 a month in 1982 for a fucking germ-proof apartment. How can it be germ-proof when it isn't even bug-proof? He's fucking out, man.
Another twisted character. I love the way he compares, the bugs to basically the people he's destroyed in business over the years.
Yes.
And it's just great parallel for him getting his comeuppance at the legs of the cockroaches.
When we were reviewing this on Postmortem, and the reason I bring this up again is because I don't know if it was Kenny as well, but I believe Oz said at this point he got a little tired and wasn't really into this segment. It may have been Kenny, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Because I love this segment so much. And again, to me, it's very fast paced, pretty much a one-person show, because although you see an eyeball at the door and you hear voices through phone conversations and whatnot, it's pretty much one character through the whole thing.
Yes.
I mean, it is one character through the whole thing, not pretty much.
Yeah, that's it. You only hear voices. You see white a little bit when But that's it. You see White for like fucking 30 seconds. You know what I mean? You just hear his voice, and the other people you just hear are just voices over the phone, and that's all you need. I mean, this guy, it's just performance. He's just fucking an asshole, and he's bugging out. The cereal shit is fucking, it grosses me out 100% when it's in the mixer and when it's in the freaking box. Oh my gosh. I mean, everybody can relate to this one. That's something else. Nobody wants fucking roaches in their house. Nobody wants roaches in their food. You know what I mean? Come on. I don't know how you couldn't relate to this one and have it freak you out. Some people are more scared than others. But
this one's terrible. That's the only reason I never watched it as a kid. I just physically could not bring myself to sit down and watch this because I was so terrified of insects and bugs. Not that it doesn't creep me out now, but I could watch it now. I mean, I walked out of arachnophobia in the movie theater when I was younger.
Wow.
I've never walked out of a movie. I couldn't watch it anymore.
It must have been the thrillometer getting to you. When he pulls the bedding away to reveal the cockroaches there. Yeah, horrifying. And then only to, the reveal of him is a gag. No pun intended. I mean, all the cockroaches was just manifested inside of him, but that's the big payoff. And that is single-handedly what made me want to see this movie when I read that comic and saw that, even though I knew I wouldn't be able to watch it. So it's what intrigued me, and I guess this is what horror is all about, right? We're intrigued by something we know we don't want to see. Some people run away from that, and that's why they're not into horror at all, and that's what drives us towards it. So I knew I was going to be grossed out by it, but I needed to see the movie. There's a bit of nostalgia there, that driving force, and why I love this segment to this day, because I just could not watch it when I was younger.
I still bury my head in the Chesterfield.
Nice. Awesome.
Is that right? Did I use that right?
You did use it right, you prick.
Okay.
Nice. And the music. I can only think of bugs when I hear that music. It just speaks fucking creepy crawlies to me. Oh, creepy man. Crawls. It's just creepy. Like my fucking skin crawls watching it. It's out of control, man. Old Norman went out with a bang.
Can't fire him.
Yeah. Huh? Can't fire him. He's fucking great. Oh, what a character, man.
It's always, it's impressive when you see actors doing like basically one-man performances or one-woman performances, because they can't be easy. And to be that convincing and that good, right. It's quite impressive. This one I've grown to really enjoy. I mean, because, again, like I said, I didn't watch it a lot as a kid because I was terrified of it. And now the more I watch it, I think I like it more each time I watch it. Yeah,
I love it.
I feel the way about the whole film, to be honest.
Nice.
Even though it does run over 2 hours or just about 2 hours. So it is kind of long. But when you look at it, 5 stories, even at, 25 minutes a piece, even though they're not all that long?
No, after 3, you're at the hour mark. And the last 2 take up an hour. So I think the Crate is probably like close to 40 minutes, and then this is like
that's
minutes.
The thing. That's the one that could be cut down. That Christian and I were saying.
I wish I could figure out what I would cut though. I don't know, but that's another story. But I've always felt that, so I know where you're coming from. But that's why I think it's placed in the right spot. It's after an hour you get into that, and then this almost feels like it's tacked on at the end. So I could see what Kenny was saying because of if he's not used to watching 2-hour movies, maybe. I don't know.
I can't remember if it was Kenny or Oz, but I remember them saying by this point they didn't need to have another one. I'm like, what? But it's such a great finale. Other than
I think
the
Oz made a mistake. I'm sorry, what?
Other than the finale, other than the wraparound, obviously.
Yeah. Oh shit. Maybe we should get back into the wraparound. Do we have anything else for this one?
Nope.
Bastards. He's fucking great. Oh shit. So yeah, back to the wraparound. We get little Billy, and how great is that though? Like, what does he say? Tom Atkins is hurting. His neck is hurting, and what doesn't she say something that you should put something on your body? What was it?
Was it Bengay?
How long? Fuck. Nobody got my old joke from the 80s. There was a joke from the 80s. When we were kids, Somebody would get to say, yeah,
Ben,
someone would
Ben
get someone
Gay.
to say Ben Gay, and the other guy would say how long. Yeah. I don't know.
Okay, I just got it now. Savini's. What does he yell?
The comic book. Yeah, because he's got the fucking.
That's my least. I hate that part. It pisses me off.
I want to punch him right in the face every time he says that.
Oh, it's so funny. It's true to life. You never had that happen? Like have headphones on and then somebody yells so many times and then maybe the music stopped and then he didn't know why he was yelling, so he's making fun of him?
Yeah, I didn't like it. I don't know why. It bugs me every time I see it. I want to punch him because he screams right in the guy's face.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's hysterical. The other part that I think is weird, though, is when he bashes the back of the thing and goes, chew your food before you swallow. The trash compactor.
Yeah.
I can't believe you guys don't like that. It's a comic book.
I don't like the way he yells at it.
Totally fucking annoying.
It's very obnoxious.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I like Savini, but not there.
Yeah. I would not ask for his autograph if he did that to me.
If I ever got his autograph, I would ask him to write that in all caps. It's a comic book. On my Creepshow comic book.
With 50 exclamation marks.
Just to spite you guys, that's what I would do. When we have that party.
That's cool when they're flipping through though, and they're looking at all the gag stuff to buy, and they see that the voodoo doll's missing.
Authentic voodoo doll. Yeah, that's great stuff.
Yeah.
How about at the very end, again with fucking this kid, the way he talks? What do you think he says? The last line of the film. Do you guys remember the little Billy?
I thought you were gonna play a clip. I hit pause. I thought you were.
Oh no, because it's not that big a thing.
I can't remember. What does he say?
I always thought to me he says he should be saying Dad, but it sounds like he's saying Doc, and he goes, "Have another shot, Doc?" You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, okay, yeah. When he's poking it. He's toking it.
What did he say?
When he's poking the doll.
Yes.
Yeah.
How about another shot, Doc? It sounds like he says Doc when he should be saying.
Yeah,
Dad.
his speech is weird.
Yes.
On some of the words, he must be saying Dad, but yeah.
It's always, I don't know. I just always, it doesn't bother me. I just always think of it every time I see it. How about another shot, Doc?
He was probably talking funny because he was watching his father talk like Jordy for 3 weeks, and he started talking funny.
I don't know. It's ridiculous though. But anyway,
it's a good film. It's a great film.
It's fucking fantastic. It's like I said, it's the best acted Romero. It's the perfect storm. You have Tom Savini for the first time, really. Like he instead of being Mr. Slasher, he got to do different things and build a zombie and do different things where it wasn't slasher kills and things like that. He was trying to branch out into something else.
Yeah, it was more creatures in this one, and it was really well done.
Man, like
impressive.
The Prowler, and then this, and Day of the Dead, like all in a row. Like I want to say the Prowler was the end of '81. Like it was after Maniac, and obviously Maniac was '80, and then The Burning was '81. I think the Prowler came last. We should know we covered them all, but either way, I mean, I think those 3 movies in a row were just all his best work. Everything he did, I think, is great. But I mean, you have George Romero, you have Stephen King writing, Savini with the makeup, Richard Rubenstein, who's fucking done so many good things from the production side, and that soundtrack, man, John Harrison, I can't stress it enough. It's fucking awesome. It really is. Like, take that soundtrack out, and you'll see what a big deal it is. And I think it's very underrated. Nobody ever talks about it. But, man, I think it's just perfect. And, no surprise for me. 10 out of 10. I fucking love the film.
I love the film as well. And if I actually averaged out my ratings, I would probably come in at just under a 9. But I have given this a 10 out of 10 in the past. I do believe if you look at it as a package, the whole film, and not just by rating individual segments and then doing the average, then I still will say that I'll give it a 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah, the whole is better than the sum of its parts.
Just basically like Trick or Treat. Same thing I said about Trick or Treat. If we would have done Trick or Treat and I would have rated it on each one, because I don't think every fucking thing in that is a 10 out of 10 either. But the presentation and the atmosphere is amazing. So I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Both films.
And I'm at a 9 out of 10. So it still makes the Hall of Fame. But I actually came up because I was always in the 8.5 range for Creepshow because I didn't enjoy certain segments. But I've really grown to appreciate them all, even though I have critiques for some of them.
Nice. Well, I'm just happy it's in the Hall. Nice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It deserves to be.
It does.
Fuck yeah, dude. Damn, I love this film. Ah, shit. Okay. Well, I guess we're going to go on to part 2.
Part 2.
Let's do it.
Very, very interested to hear what you guys have to say about part 2.
Okay, Creepshow 2 from 1987. Written by George Romero and Stephen King stories. Directed by Michael Gornick. 3 more bone-chilling tales that include a vengeful wooden Native American, a monstrous blob in a lake, and a hitchhiker who wants revenge and will not die.
Michael Gornick. Cinematographer for Dawn of the Dead, Creepshow, and Day of the Dead.
And Martin.
Thank you.
And Night Riders. I looked them up when you said who was Michael Gornick.
3 movies, and I'm talking about Dawn, Day, and Creepshow, that I love and that are all shot really well and have an interesting color palette and lots of cool things. So the fact that he directed this movie and there is no real color palette or anything like that is kind of disappointing, surprising to me.
I hear you. I mean, it doesn't follow the same comic book idea from the Frames idea from Creepshow. It has the animated segment to kind of carry us through. I've fluctuated with this movie in the sense of, like, I've never hated it, but it's definitely not on par with the original. However, I feel like it's a solid continuation.
I don't think it's far off from the original, to be honest. And the only reason why it's not up there with the original is one of the stories doesn't hold up for me. But, I thought the beginning was pretty true to the original. You get the creep again delivering comics. You got Billy, and you have the flipping of the comic book showing actually all the stories that are going to be shown in the movie.
When the credits roll, the actual credits, when it starts, and you get that music, which I think that is what's done by Wakeman, because Rick Wakeman was given some of it, and then there was some other guy who did the rest. I think Wakeman did that part because that's the only part of the soundtrack I like. I'm starting off with a negative just because we just finished with such a big positive. The thing is, for me, everything great about the original Creepshow is just not present here. You don't have that soundtrack. You don't have the lighting. You don't have the comic book stuff going on here, the transitions, all of that stuff. You started off a movie, one of the most original movies ever made, period, with all that great stuff going on, and you follow it up with a pale imitation.
You got to remember, though, the budget on this one was even less than half of the original.
True. I'm not necessarily blaming everybody involved. I'm just saying I wish they would have done a little bit more. I don't know. Even when the movie begins, it looks like any other movie. The first thing you see is the side of a building and a truck pulling up. It could be the beginning of any fucking movie in the 90s or the late 80s. It's just
come on. You could have said the same thing about Creepshow. It was literally a house with a pumpkin in the front window.
Yeah, but the music comes in right away and you get atmosphere the first second it begins. Boom, boom, boom. Immediately you're thrust into the world of Creepshow. Where this, it's like anything else.
I think the stories speak for themselves, though.
The stories are fine. They're more straightforward, but you don't get anything where you have a strong villain like you do. You don't get an E.G. Marshall and fucking they're creeping up on you. You don't get a Leslie Nielsen in Something That Tied You Over, or Adrienne Barbeau in The Crate. You don't get any of that in this film. I am not going to shit on the movie. I'm just telling you off the bat, when this movie begins, especially after coming off the original, it's a noticeable drop for me. That's all I'm saying.
Funny enough, I watched this one first for this show, and
me too.
I was surprised at how much I was enjoying it. It's a faster paced movie. Again, it's only an hour and a half. I mean, I guess the high quality actor is what's his face in the first segment.
Yeah, George Kennedy.
It does play off a little TV-esque.
Yes.
The music, the credits, the dialogue, everything kind of comes across more TV movie quality until it kind of kicks into high gear. It's a little bit too heavy-handed with the happy-go-lucky music and my people, we are indebted to you.
I think Old Chief Woodenhead is probably the most touching of all the Creepshow stories.
Well, they tried to. I just think that they went a little heavy-handed with the music.
I think that too. I like George Kennedy and his wife.
Good day, Martha Spruce.
Exactly.
Good day, Benjamin.
Oh shit!
But I love the look of the Chief, man. Oh my God, when he comes to life, oh my God, that's awesome.
I do too. Very straightforward. All of them here, especially. I mean, and even the first one, everything's very straightforward.
The first one's all straight. Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. Like the first movie, they're all straightforward. This is no different than we're talking about reading an EC comic book. Okay.
Yep.
Bad was done to good people. The Chief exacts revenge. And I agree with Brandon that the scenes where he comes back to life are really well done.
I want a bust of Chief Woodenhead. I want a big bust, but I can't find anything.
I think I would have liked to see Impact when he's holding the guy with the long hair, because they built up on that hair so much that when you see the knife come down and it cuts away. I didn't think it was. I think you just needed to see something. You knew what he was going to do.
But that scream he does, right? But oh my God, that's terrifying and awesome at the same time.
It's fucking haunting.
Yeah.
I love it. Yes. I love that scream, and I love the scream that Chief Woodenhead himself lets out when he first comes to life, and he goes, ooh. It's fucking scary.
Oh, Chief Woodenhead,
bitch. But Sam Whitemoon's scream. It's fucking, it's awesome. And Sam Whitemoon is by far the best character in this entire thing for me. He's awesome. Over here, lady. Over here, lady. Oh, he's fucking great. I love him. This hair is going to get me paid and laid. Oh, he's my favorite character in this whole thing.
You didn't like fat stuff?
Fat stuff. That fucking dumb bastard. I got to take my slave with me everywhere I go. He's fucking great, Sam. I tell you. But yeah, of course they're all straightforward. They are. It's just a little more noticeable, I guess, in this one. I don't know.
I enjoyed it. I actually enjoy all three segments here. There's not a lot to say about them. You're right.
I enjoy 2 of the 3.
Right.
I used to enjoy all 3. I used to love this movie more than I do now. In fact, I've even made reference that I used to like Creepshow 2 more than Part 1. But I think percentage-wise now, if I'm adding up the stories, 2 of the 3 hold up for me here, whereas pretty much all 5 of them in the original I enjoy. Whereas one in here, I really just, it didn't hold up. And it was actually the scariest one for me, again, when I was younger.
Because it's 2-1 note.
Would be the Raft, but...
No, it's the Hitchhiker.
Nope.
Really?
It is, because it's 2-1 note.
It's
right?
the Hitchhiker. The Hitchhiker just did not hold up for me.
Because it's 2-1 note. That's my guess. That's the reason why, correct?
It's the same thing over. It's very one note. It's the same thing over and over. And what they should have done with the creep, with the Hitchhiker, that they didn't... I don't know why I never noticed this, is that they didn't give him a creepy voice. He just had his regular voice the whole. At the very end, when he's like a skeleton, he finally had the creepy. He should have had it the whole time.
I agree with that. But then again, it makes that last scene so impactful when he does it, because it's fucking scary.
Yeah, but you know what? It dragged on for too long. It's like, okay.
I knew you were going to say that, because that was my problem for years. For years, that one didn't hold up for like the last 10 years. And this time around, I was okay with it.
We're always opposite.
It's so funny.
Yeah, but I feel where you're coming from. I felt what you have felt before. That's what I'm saying. It's like we always say a movie's only as good as the last time you watched it.
Yeah.
I've noticed that happens. Like experiences you are having now.
It's weird. As a kid, as a 9-10-year-old kid, thanks for the ride, lady, was a catchphrase of mine.
Me too.
Horrifying.
Me and my friends. It was for us. It was comedy. Thanks for the ride, lady.
For us, it was. I don't know. We probably used it as a joking matter, but it would scare the shit out of me because I would equate it with the Hitchhiker, and it terrified me. But here, it just did not hold up. Whereas Old Chief Woodenhead, I'd learned to appreciate him more just because of the, the story of the people and him avenging the Spruces, and then him finally being able to rest, rest in the afterlife after avenging them and, moving on. It was very touching. It's a nice little segment.
To add to what you're saying, I would say that there's no other way to present these 3 stories. I think this is the perfect presentation of it, with Chief Woodenhead first, the Raft second, and thanks for The Hitchhiker third. I think that's the perfect progression for this film. I don't think the movie would work in any other order.
Yeah,
you put The Hitchhiker first and Chief whatever his face last. I don't think it would work. I don't think it would have the same impact. I think this is how the movie needs to be presented to you.
I agree 100%. Isn't that strange? I can't think of any other anthology where it has to be this way. Like sometimes you could switch two around, and sometimes you say this one has to open, this one has to finish. I've said that before in anthologies, but this one, you're right. I can't see it any other way working.
I think it is. I think it's the right order when I think about it.
It starts slow, and that's my critique of this one, is that it takes a little too long to get going in Chief Woodenhead.
Yes, and I would agree. And again, it just, I noted, I'm liking it, but I'm finding it a little, and I keep using the term heavy-handed, but it was just the music was so sweepy, happy, and then, it was just like, okay, we get it. And the dialogue and everything, it was just a little too much. However, it's touching. It is touching, Brandon. I agree. And which is why the revenge is so sweet, and why the second half is fantastic in it.
And the kills, I mean, I love, even though you don't really see the first kill with the axe, I love the shadow that they show. Yes. That's awesome. And then the aftermath, and of course Fatso gets like 3 or 4 arrows put through him.
Yeah, it's all good. It's here's what it is. It takes too long to get going, and then the massacre happens too quick. Yeah, it's like the kids getting killed in Nightmare 4.
The massacre is a little quick, but there's only 3 of them. Yeah.
I think there could have been a better balance in there, where that could have played out a little bit longer, and the beginning could have taken a little quicker time. Like it was they could have got to the point with the original guy. I forget his name. Benjamin. What's his name?
Spruce.
But Benjamin Spruce comes in.
Oh no, Benjamin Whitemoon. You're talking about
Benjamin Whitemoon. Yeah, Sam's relative.
Yeah, Sam's uncle.
Yeah, so Benjamin Whitemoon comes in and he gives them their freaking airport junk jewelry and says this is something very valuable, and that whole thing.
I like that setup though, because that made it more believable as to why he's not turning over this. I mean, they say it's $10,000 worth of jewelry, but it didn't look very valuable. But why he won't turn it over and why he's hesitant, and why ultimately, Sam shoots them. But doesn't it seem like, correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't it seem like Sam shot Martha by accident?
Yes, he definitely did.
He did, right? Okay, I'm not crazy. The gun went off by accident.
By the look on his face, and by the way she goes down too is fucking.
Oh man, well the way she gets shot in the side, and then you see the blood just come through every part of her body. Ugh.
It's heartbreaking, and you see the old man walk closer, and then he gets shot because he's so
shuffle closer.
Yeah, it was such a great performance he did. Very subtle.
Here's the thing. Everything when Benjamin comes in there and on is fine. The 15 minutes of setup, which could have been set up in 5 minutes.
Yes.
Right? That's it.
And they could have put another segment in instead.
It was like watching Gunsmoke. Long conversations in this town.
I agree. Trim that down. Put another small segment in, after the raft, into the finale. 4 segments or something in this movie. I think that would have really helped the film.
It's a slow start for me. That's what I'm saying. As soon as the movie begins, the thing with the creep, compared to part 1, I don't see the comic book and the soundtrack stuff right away. So I'm like, and then you could flip me and start off with a killer freaking way to start it. And it starts off with a lull for 10 minutes in this conversation with these 2 old people. It was just it's just the way it begins. And like we said, it has to begin this way as far as the 3 are concerned. But it's just, it lulls me into it. Where Creepshow 1, I'm thrown right into it. But anyway, I don't want to keep comparing. I'm just saying. I enjoy it.
I think when you look at Father's Day, you get, even though I love Father's Day, I think it's sort of very similar in the sense that it's a lot of setup before the whiskey spilled and Nathan comes back.
Yes, but the difference is we have comic book everything going on in colors, and everything they talk about, you're jumping all over the place. They're flashing back and forth and showing what they're talking about.
So you liked all the eye candy more. You wanted more eye candy, whereas I didn't mind this sort of faded out look to it, because that's basically what they were going for. This washed up town. It seems like you're almost watching an old western.
Yeah, but they could have incorporated the comic book more with that.
Well, they could have done that with all of them, with
Yeah.
all the stories in this one. To be honest, they cut into them and cut out of them at the end with it, but they didn't include it in any segment in the middle like they did with some of the others.
It felt like Freddy's Nightmares or Tales from the Dark Side or something. That's what the first one felt like for a while. It was like low budget feeling and looking, and I don't know. I'm not shitting on it. There is not a single thing in either of the first two Creepshows that are below average to me. So I'm fine with it. I'm just,
to come up with anything below average would be, I couldn't do that.
And that final shot in that first segment with the chief holding the scalp.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Fantastic.
I love him putting on the war paint with the blood. I love Chief Woodenhead. He's an intriguing character.
Dude, when he's walking, I don't know how they do it, but they make him sound wooden, and he looks like when he walks, there's like creaking going on and stuff. It's really cool when he's walking. And it's terrifying when he gets the one guy, he breaks through the wall. And
when he breaks through the wall is fantastic.
I love it. I love all this stuff. It just takes a little time to get going, but the best 10 minutes of the whole thing actually is the robbery for me with Sam Whitemoon and his fucking skills on the mic. He's great. He should have been like a wrestling character in the fucking 80s or something. He was great. I'm telling you, everything that comes out of his mouth is great. I love
what a
Sam
career
Whitemoon.
he's had too. Like,
who is he?
He was in a ton of David Fincher films.
Really?
Yeah.
News to me. Well, I didn't even know this. Boy.
Yeah, this guy. Yeah, no,
he's not really native.
He went on to become a well-known, I wouldn't say well-known, but an actor who's done a lot of stuff.
I don't think he's really Native American either. He was just playing one here.
No, he's not. He's not Native American.
Yeah, isn't that something?
He was born in New York.
Mindhunter is the new show that he did on I believe it's Netflix. My wife loved it. Yeah, and I didn't even know it was him. When I was researching the movie, I'm like, holy shit.
Wow.
And then that's when I realized he was in so many flicks.
He's got 80 credits on IMDb.
Wow. Sam Whitemoon.
Yeah, including like 1, 2, 3, 5 that are either completed or in post-production right now. So 80 credits, and Creepshow was his second credit ever. So he made it to Hollywood. Chief Woodenhead didn't win.
He got paid and laid, you know?
He got paid and laid.
How many women were waiting to rub his hair between their thighs? You know? Tons. He was right. He paid it, and I'm happy for him. He's great. Okay, 2 questions though. I'm gonna bring this down. They make such a big fucking deal about being quiet. Remember when they're getting after they do the stuff and the way Sam goes outside, they're looking and they're trying not to be discovered because they just committed fucking murder, right? You guys know what I'm talking about? When they're getting ready to leave, they're looking around. They're trying to be quiet. They're trying to be inconspicuous.
And then they
are they?
And then not just that, fucking he shoots a gun and no pussy ass red then either, and he's fucking blowing off a gun. I'm like, what the fuck? You just went against everything you were trying not to do, right? In the middle of the fucking in the street, and then. That's my first question. My other question is this. How does Benjamin Whitemoon know what happened at the end of the film? All he does is go there and see Chief Woodenhead with a scalp. How does he fucking know who and why? He just accepts it. Oh, now you can rest easy, he says.
He's like the wise Indian leader of his tribe. He knows. He's got a connection with Chief Woodenhead. I just bought it.
I did too, Brandon. I never questioned it either. Like, it's just that's like movie magic. He's the old wise chief. That's not Woodenhead.
He's not. He's the old wise chief, not Woodenhead.
He's Chief Fleshhead. One's wood, one's flesh. What do you want? You know? Yeah, I thought that was kind of ridiculous.
In terms of the being quiet, you know, I don't. They were making a ruckus the whole time. I didn't even really notice that, but that is contradictory to.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Hey, when I watch for a review, I critique. I have to look at things like that, and those are the 2 things I picked up on. But I thought the other one was a bigger deal. Benjamin's gonna go there the next day to repay him or visit or whatever the fuck. He sees that the Indian scalped somebody. That's it. He doesn't walk in to see. How does he know that fucking George Kennedy and his wife are even dead? He was going there to visit.
He wakes up with the jewels back in his bed.
So he knows that they're dead?
He knows. He dreamt it. He's a wise chief.
Okay, I will go.
You know how they always present the Indian tribes in these movies where they're, you know, like all knowing. They'll trip on peyote and see God or, you know, or see a spirit.
Okay, if you're happy with it, that's good enough.
Yeah, I'm totally on board. I don't know the culture behind it, but I totally felt like it was a higher power.
All right.
That was at work there.
All right, that's fair. Okay, can we move on, or we got more here?
The Raft.
The Raft.
This is just a fun. This is a fun segment.
Hell yeah, it is.
It is fun.
Also scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some cheesy. I had rapey. There's some cheesiness to it, but that's all part of the fun. Like literally, car drives up, college kids get out, swim in the raft.
50 miles to go there.
Yeah.
Just to go to that.
Seems a little weird, yeah.
It didn't seem like the type of place you drive 50 miles to go to. Like, they could have found water closer to them.
And again, the wacky editing, the wacky acting here works kind of for it. I don't really question like why like the acting's a little off. You just kind of go with it. And they smoke up a bit. I've always thought that damn oil slick just looked like a garbage bag floating on the top of the water.
Isn't that what it was made out of?
I don't know, but that's what it looks like.
I'm pretty sure I told somebody while watching that movie that the effects were that it was made out of just garbage bags, because that's exactly what it looks like, and yet it's effective. Because the scene where it pulls that duck under, man, that's like, ooh, it's like foreshadowing what's about to happen. It's terrifying.
The single-handedly had the craziest effect that freaked me out is when I first saw it too, which is when the guy gets pulled down and his leg snaps back.
You know what? That's a great scene, but I go back to the first kill, to Rachel, when she comes up and she reaches her hand out.
Oh, that's unsettling. Yeah.
That's such to me, that's like almost iconic, the way she she reaches out like that. It's just looks almost like Evil Dead-ish.
Help me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like the cover of Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the last kill is the best. Of the other girl, the last kill, I think, is the best.
Randy's kill?
Oh, yeah.
No, the girl.
They're all good.
You're talking about the...
She's like a skull. She's like a skeleton. She's covered in...
You know what? That was fun. That was funny. That was something I wrote down, because I noticed that she became a skeleton a lot quicker, yet Rachel didn't become a skeleton even when she popped back up.
You know why? Because it started at her skull.
Oh, I didn't care. It looked awesome.
No, I'm just saying. There's even a good reason for it. It started at her face. Everyone else was different. They were sucked under. She was sucked through the board, and it was already on her face. So it disintegrated her fucking skin and muscle and whatever tissue right away.
That's a weird scene when I guess they added it because they wanted to have a little bit of nudity in it, but man, it's just so out of place, because he's such a good guy, and then all of a sudden he's just like, I'm gonna get a little rapey right now.
Probably figures he's about to die. She's a dirty birdie. She probably won't push him away. He's high. I'm going to try it and see what happens. He's a kid, too. When you're a kid, you'll try shit like that.
I tried to watch and tried to justify it that he was almost sacrificing her, the way he lays her down. Like he's almost looking for the creature, but he's not.
No. What were you going to say, C? You were objecting?
I was going to say, no, I'm not objecting. I was just going to say that I object.
You're a misogynist, Dave. Why would anyone ever do that? And
I don't even know what I was going to say. When you're fearing for your life, you're not thinking about that at that point. As horny as I am, if I'm worried about fearing for my life, in my head thinking about what if I was in that situation, I'd be like, hey, you want to fuck? Because we might not live.
Yeah.
But when I'm in that situation, I don't think that's what's going to be happening.
Man, I don't know. Laverne, she was cute.
Yeah, she was. And the other girl, it was bugging me for the first 5 minutes. Did she remind you of anybody else?
She looked like almost like a Sissy Spacek type.
I used to think that. This time I kept thinking of Alice from Nightmare on Elm Street in part 4, before she makes the transformation.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that too.
The way she acted, the way she looked, everything. I was like, that's fucking Alice. Yeah, that's the vibe I got this time.
Yeah.
And how come he kept calling the other guy Pancho? He isn't Mexican at all.
It was a reference to the Cisco kid. That was like their little Easter egg in this one, because in the first one... In the first story, the one kid's rich parents, they're watching the Cisco kid on TV. So in the second story, they're calling each other Pancho, because I guess that's one of the characters' name. I never watched the Cisco kid, but it's a tie into that.
Yeah, but the one guy kept calling the other one all these Mexican things. It wasn't the back and forth thing. It was just the surfer dude saying it to the other guy.
Yeah, he was calling him Pancho.
Yeah, and he kept saying, mucho ecological Pancho. He kept saying all this shit.
It was just a reference to the Cisco kid with the Pancho thing.
It would have made more sense if he was Mexican. That's all. I just thought.
Because I read that somewhere.
Oh, that's weird. He should have called him Loco instead. Loco. I fucking love that.
Should he have called him? I'm sorry.
Not again. Here's what I think. they should have swam as soon as the fucking dude gets it. When they knew that the trouble they were in and they saw the fucking dude getting sucked in and his leg breaking, those two motherfuckers on that raft, I would have swam. Like, he's not going to get us both at once.
That's when you would have left. At that point, the girl got pulled away. You'd been freaked out. I don't know what I just did there. And then when that guy gets pulled down, you'd be like, well, I'm going for it because this guy's getting chomped. I'm going.
Go. 100%. I do like it though. There was a nice touch with it with his class ring. I always thought that was kind of cool.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. That's cool. But man, Randy's so stupid at the end, just sitting on the edge, taunting this thing. Come on, rolling. Come on, just get in the car and go. I know,
but I could see it.
He just saw his friends just fucking eviscerated by them. It's like, come on.
I know. Isn't it weird, though, that they play up to the fact that the car's running all this time? Didn't everybody think when you're watching this that he was going to get into the car and the car wasn't going to start because the battery was going to be dead? And it's like they had an angle and they just completely dropped it.
Yeah.
I thought at one point, I remember the car battery dying over time.
Maybe it does. But why they didn't really make it like it was a big deal. Yeah. It didn't really impact the plot whatsoever. Just matter of fact, the car died. Okay. You know what I mean? It just didn't really... I don't know.
They go all this way to swim in the place, but it's also freezing cold to swim at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is sort of the setup for why they don't make a jump for it, because the water's so cold they weren't swimming that fast.
Yeah.
But so there's a raft out there, and then the end tagline part is no swimming?
Yeah, no swimming. As basic as you can get.
Yeah. But why would they have heard of this place to go swimming at then?
Yeah.
That's the weird part.
Rumor. It was a passed on. Hey, if you want to take your girl somewhere and get high and fuck, go on this raft.
And why is there no swimming? Because of the deadly oil slick?
Well, that's what I'm
guessing. I'll tell you what, I don't mind the way it looks. When you first see it, it looks like a garbage bag and everything else. But when they show those close-ups on it,
it looked like coral.
A crusty white thing on the top.
It looked like coral on top.
Yeah, I like that part. It makes it look less cheap. It looks cheap until they show the close-ups, and I'm like, that's not a garbage bag. That's something else.
Yeah, then she starts petting it.
Petting it. She
was like petting it, like back and forth.
Maybe she was looking for the duck. She wanted to pet the duck. You know?
Oh, God, idiot. Yeah, man, those effects though were cool. I don't think eviscerated was the right word, but whatever they were like melted. Ugh, eaten away.
It reminded me of what the Blob came out the year later.
It's exactly.
And it's really well done here. All the deaths are chilling. Yeah. And it's my favorite segment of this film. Yeah. And I think a lot of people's favorite segment, to be honest.
100%. I think it's everybody's favorite. This is the crate of this one. That's what I think.
I can't agree with that because I don't.
What, you're disagreeing? You're disagreeing with the
Well, I didn't realize the crate was the favorite from part one. I still didn't realize that. I thought people like Father's Day or something that tied you over.
I guarantee it's the crate. We're going to put it up. We will put it up.
Pull this.
I'm telling you. I'm going to do it now because I want to do it. Pull this.
Tuck in.
I'm going to do it before this airs because I said I'd put my podcasting future on it. So I don't want people to hear it and that to influence them in any way, either to kill me or to save me. I want it to be as genuine as can be. I'll put it up tomorrow. There you go. What's your favorite one from the Creepshow 1? And the next day I'll do it from 2. And I would guarantee.
Oh, the raft.
It's the crate in part 1, the raft in part 2.
They could all go tuck in.
Tuck off.
Tuck off.
So yeah, pretty straightforward. The raft, it's great, right?
Yeah, the stories in this one are I mean, in all of them they're straightforward, but in here it's like
right. It's more obvious here. It's obviously straightforward, and there's not much to write home about with the performances or the production. That's the difference.
Yeah. So I agree, but you know what? It didn't affect my enjoyment. To me, a solid story is a solid story, and the first 2 for me were solid stories. So those are the 2 that I still highly enjoy. Whereas the last one, The Hitchhiker, just for some reason, maybe because it was so scary as a kid, just didn't hold up this time.
Well, let's get on it. What about The Hitchhiker? So it didn't hold up for you. I used to have that problem, but I've learned to appreciate it more now because of the deterioration of The Hitchhiker as it goes on.
You know what? I appreciate the look of his deterioration, but he's not scary or menacing with his real voice because that actor who plays him, I've seen him in a million things.
It's Richard Pryor. You know who Richard Pryor is. Of course he's been in a million things. serious. I'm kidding. It's not really Richard Pryor.
I know it's not Richard Pryor. I'm looking up the guy's name.
No, you know who it is. It's O.J. Simpson.
It's Tom Wright, who was actually he was in Tales from the Hood. He was the politician who was killed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, from Tales from the Hood. He's been in a million things. He's got 177 credits on IMDb.
Wow, but does he charge for orgasms? 6 orgasms, $25 a pop. I fucking love her.
And that's right out of an EC comic. Cheating wife, heading home, kill somebody.
It looked more like an episode of Red Shoe Diaries though at the beginning.
Yeah, you're right. The beginning is right. Or The Hitchhiker.
Yeah.
Did you ever see The Hitchhiker, the TV show on HBO?
No.
No, there used to be a show called The Hitchhiker.
I never watched that. It was always on. In Canada, you flipped the late night TV, The Hitchhiker was on 5 channels. I'm exaggerating. But it seemed like it was always on. And I never watched it.
It was kind of like an Alfred Hitchcock Presents.
Yeah.
But
a little sober.
With an adult theme, though. There was always TNA on there and sex.
Nice.
So it was kind of interesting. Yeah. But the beginning always kind of scared me a little bit when I was a kid. When you see the hitchhiker on the road. But anyway, the hitchhiker. Fucking. But this is the hitchhiker. So yeah, it fits in. What are the odds? Wow. But I like her because she's a bad girl. And she's all excited about 6 orgasms. So
I like her. I like her pricing everything out. The whole thing.
That'll cost you, Mrs. Lansing, $237,000. I mean, if she doesn't talk to herself, we have nothing. So
it's true. It's true.
I don't want to call it a weakness, but I just want to point out something obvious, that if she doesn't sit there and talk to herself the whole time, we don't have a story. It's her. She's Mrs. Exposition on what's going on in her head.
No, and it's good that she hit the hitchhiker right away. So she has this sort of like moral dilemma that she's sort of solving out loud, talking to herself. You know, I could always turn myself in, right? If I can't handle it, this and that, and it just, she kind of breaks down from there.
It's scary. The very first time you see the hitchhiker walking and realize what's going on, imagine being in that position.
That is scary. The first time he's sort of like dragging his leg, walking up.
It's fucking scary.
But then for like, I don't know how long the segment lasts of the back and forth between her and the hitchhiker. Maybe it's 10 minutes, but like the first 7-8 minutes, it's just a lot of, hey lady, thanks for the ride. And it just, if they had just made the voice more scary, like they did with, Ted Danson and what's her name? What I keep forgetting. Yeah, if they had just, if like they did at the end of the segment with his voice, where it got all distorted and gravelly. If they had just had it that way the whole time.
Hold your breath.
Yeah, if it had been, thanks for the ride, lady.
The end is like, thanks for the ride, lady. Thanks for the ride, lady.
I guess you can't not have him just sing the same line over again, but maybe there could have been played like 6 orgasms.
or I'm the hitchhiker,
bitch.
Oh shit! I'll tell you why he's really scary, because he's wearing Mrs. Voorhees' sweater.
He is wearing Voorhees.
And Steve Christie's raincoat.
You're right. Oh hi! Yeah, it is him. Wow! Yeah. It's a combination of Steve Christie, Mrs. Voorhees, and O.J. Simpson.
O.J. Simpson. More Richard Pryor sprinkled in, right?
That's right. I still get a kick out of this one.
I don't hate it. It didn't hold up in the fear factor for me, because it used to be terrifying to me. And I love the little side story that she's trying to make it home in time because her husband's never late, and it turns out he's late because he's the one who stops at the scene of the accident, which is it's funny.
That's a good little touch. And you're right. She needs to be talking to herself, or we really don't have any other substance to this.
Yeah. It's as straightforward as can be.
Yeah.
But I quite like it.
Yeah, I like it.
Ends the movie well.
I like them all. I'm just not over the moon over any particular one. That's all.
What about the cartoon? Not to jump, like, I don't know if there's much more to say. What about the cartoon that intercuts in between?
It shouldn't be in between. It dragged it down. It should have been at the beginning and at the end, and that's it. I don't give a fuck about all this stuff with the plan. I don't like the way the animation looks either. I like the animation in the beginning, the opening credits, the comic. But what the way they move, they look like wonky and shit. I didn't like the animation. I didn't give a fuck about the Venus flytrap and going to the store and this and that. It would have been fine if it was at the beginning and the end, like the original. But the interplay in between, I just felt it unnecessary.
I think that was the whole way of carrying it through. I think obviously that's what they were going for. I guess because it was only 3 segments, this was like the link in between. I actually didn't have a problem with that.
Yeah, I didn't mind it either. I just I was a little put off when the bully says,
"I want his ass."
That's it. I want his ass. Yep. I was like, I want his ass. Like, wow, this movie is real ahead of its time.
I was more put off by Tom Savini as the creep in makeup. I just didn't like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a really bad effect, too.
At least he didn't yell comic book in anyone's face.
He might as well have. That would have been funnier.
It's a comic book, Billy. First in line, I see. It's a comic book.
Comic book.
He like spazzes out when he does it. It's so obnoxious.
It's like the pancakes of the 80s.
Oh,
yeah.
God. Awful. What should we do? Should we wrap this sucker up?
I'm good. I don't know if there's anything else for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's a solid sequel. I like it.
I thought it was a solid sequel too. I looked at my IMDb. I had rated it a 6, but when I actually watched the movie and went through it all, I had rated it a 7 out of 10, and I'm sticking with a 7 out of 10. So this view was a 7 out of 10.
Me too. 7 out of 10, and I came to that equation because I ranked them. I gave the first one. No, I can't do that. Forget it. Either way, I added them up, and one was an 8, one was a 7, and one was a 6, which equals 21. 21 divided by 3 is 7.
Yeah, definitely 7.
The new math.
I'm at an 8 out of 10.
That's okay. All right, man.
Nice.
Yeah,
I can see that. Okay, so we're gonna rank these suckers from best to worst, or from favorite to least favorite, whichever you want to call it. It's all the same.
Or from least favorite to favorite.
So for Creepshow, I did my favorite from Creepshow is Something That Tied You Over.
Well, no, all of them.
Oh, you want?
Oh, 1 through 8
combined. How do you rank them all, like story-wise?
What's your favorite? 1 through 8.
Can you do them in order? I could do them in order. B, I know you could.
I could do them in order. Something That Tied You Over, Creep, the cockroach one. I don't know the name of it.
Oh, they're creeping up on you. Okay.
Creeping up on you. Number 3, Father's Day. Then I'd put The Raft. Then I would put The Crate. Then I would put Thanks for the Ride. Then I'd put Indian Chief. And then I'd put The Lonely One with Stephen King.
The Lonely One with
Stephen
King?
Fuck that.
That was actually the name of it. The Lonely One with Stephen King.
Only the lonely.
Only the lonely.
Oh, man.
Wow, I got to see that again. So you have, whatever. I'm just trying to compare. I'm trying to compare the way they're all going to come out. Where we have them. You definitely have Jordy Vero at the very bottom. Wow.
I think that's a fair place for it.
Yeah, is that how yours is?
All right, my favorite is Something That Tied You Over. Also, then I would go Father's Day, Old Chief Woodenhead, They're Creeping Up on You, The Raft, The Crate, Thanks for the Ride Lady, and Jordy Vero. Or Jordy Vero, then Thanks for the Ride Lady.
Wow, okay. We all have the same favorite one. Definitely Something That Tied You Over, then The Crate, then Father's Day, then They're Creeping Up on You, The Raft, Jordy Vero, The Hitchhiker, and Sam Whitemoon last.
That's shocking. I'm shocked. Old Chief Woodenhead has grown to become one of my favorites. I'm shocked to see it last.
But you know what? I rank it a 6 out of 10. Wow. It's not like,
I think it's the best one of part 2.
I used to love it. The more I see it, the more it goes down. Just the beginning.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And I think if we pull that, the listeners are going to agree with me, as usual.
Let's do it. We'll put up our list again.
I'm getting cocky now because I think a couple of times it's worked in my favor. Usually it never did. Then suddenly with the slasher thing, I know it was close.
I'm not saying anything because I know I see a lot of people poking fun at me lately. I noticed Neil poking fun at me.
Only because I egged him on because I want him to make memes for us. So I just threw you to the wolves.
Yeah,
I didn't throw you to the wolves. I didn't. All that sounds terrible. No, all I said was that Brandon is low-hanging fruit. That's what I said. I wasn't throwing you to the. And I
like Neil. I like Neil's memes. He can make a meme out of me anytime.
I'm waiting for him to. I want him to. The thing. Here's what I told him. Basically, all I said is that Brandon strokes out a lot. So that was why you're low-hanging fruit, because you stroke out a lot. So if that's the biggest insult I have, and it's not an insult, if that's the biggest critique I have of you, big fucking deal. We all stroke out. I just wanted him to do a meme.
His comic back, though, was the best. He goes, making fun of Brandon's like making fun of a Make-A-Wish kid.
Yeah. He got that. Then he made a comment tonight about, I don't know, swapping hosts. I think Dave brought that up, and he said, I'll wind up getting stuck with Brandon. I don't want that or something.
He's fucking with you. Now you got to fuck back with him. And you.
Oh, no, I know. He's a good guy.
You got to fuck back with him, and then he'll make a meme. So I like his memes. I'm just trying to get memes.
I do, too.
So now, if I have to go do a backdoor method in order to have it done, damn it, I'm going to.
Hey, anything through the back door.
That's right. I want his ass. So anyway, yeah, let's wrap that up and get on to Hereditary and get the hell out of here. This long-ass show. Hope you guys like it.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Hereditary, from 2018, written and directed by Ari Aster. After the family matriarch passes away, a grieving family is haunted by tragic and disturbing occurrences and begin to unravel dark secrets.
Okay, everybody listening, we're going to just do a
non-spoiler.
Quick non-spoiler review, give our head rating. We're going to break it. We're going to roll the credits, the outro music, and then non-spoilers after the outro music. So if you want to hear, stick around, spoilers after the outro music where we'll get deeper into it. So we're going to do a quick thing in the beginning, just give, a little bit and a rating. And then if you really want to hear it, if you've seen the movie,
I just got to say right off the bat before we get into any plot details that from a technical standpoint, I think everything in this film is near perfect.
I couldn't agree more.
I can't pick apart anything. It is so beautiful to look at. The cinematography is amazing. The music's amazing. The acting's amazing. Everything about this film is absolutely amazing before you even get into any of the story and what's going on.
Yeah, I'm glad. I was going to say something very similar to that. So I concur.
I agree. I think it's great. I don't know if everything is amazing, but I think it's great. That's how I'll start this off. I'll say this. When the movie ended, the first thing I said to my wife was, further proof at how influential The Shining still is. Because once again, I watched this movie, and there was musical cues throughout that were mirrored The Shining. They weren't exactly the same, but the way they played, I kept thinking of the Shining soundtrack.
Well, that's funny. I never once thought of The Shining. But once again, I haven't watched The Shining as many times as you have. So that's interesting. I will say the soundtrack, I think you mentioned the music, Brandon, as well, because the soundtrack in this is phenomenal. It is so haunting. One of our favorite terms on the show, typically when we're describing a film that we love. But this is one of 3 films of the millennium that I think I'm going to have to keep blowing for years to come.
Wow.
I admittedly say I'm going to be that guy in that meme that I don't know if Neil made this one or if it was Jason Lloyd, but where that one boy is talking to the other boy and they say, "Are you a fan of A24 films?" And then the guy's going down on the other guy. I'm one of those guys because evidently I love a lot of A24 films, and this one is one of them.
I tend to be. The thing is, this was one where I always need to see it before I can say how great something's going to be. And I love A24 films.
Is that how it works?
Most people do need to see it.
Well, no, but the joke is, I'm thinking, let me rephrase it. There was a different meme that Jason put up about A24 films, and it said something about A24 films and some fan blowing it before he
sees it. Yeah, you're right.
That's true.
You're right.
But I was not a huge fan of It Comes at Night, but this one,
one,
and I've only watched this once, but I could see myself continuing to enjoy this one more and more because there's so much there.
I enjoy it. It's not The Witch for me. Like a lot of people are talking the way I talk about The Witch. To me, it's not that. I still think it's a great film. I am not on that. I thought going into it that this could be my #1 for the year coming in because everything I heard, and it was A24, and some people that have seen it and said things. I thought maybe I was going to fall into that. And when I watched it the first time, I didn't quite fall there. And on the second view, I'm getting closer. But again, I have questions that I have to get into in spoilers that hold me back. So at this point, I'm not as balls deep into it as I would have thought, and a lot of people that are into these type of films usually are. So
I just thought it was a great cast. You got Toni Collette and Gabriel Byrne as the parents, Annie and Steve, and then you got Peter and Charlie, the kids, and they do a great performance. And the whole setup is the grandmother, Ellen, passed away. And all these strange things seem to just start happening right from the opening scene at the funeral. Just Toni Collette's character's eulogy she delivers is just unsettling, and you just get a real sense of dread from the opening scene. This is probably one of the most downbeat, dark films I've seen in a very long time.
I agree, and that feeling permeates through the whole film. It's with you the whole time. I totally avoided until we were done talking about this. So tomorrow and for the next couple of days, I will listen to Mr. Watson's Horror Quarters in-depth spoiler review, because I've only listened to his non-spoiler review, because I didn't want anything to come in the way of what I was interpreting from the film at this point. And I've said I've watched it once, and I can't wait to go back to see it.
One of the weird things for me was, for some reason, even though I just saw it for the first time just the other day, I managed to avoid spoilers. And you know me, I usually spoil movies for myself. So when this story unfolded, I was not only on board, but there were so many shocks for me that I literally jaw-dropping moments where I'm like, what? That didn't just happen.
Same here. And I was like, I couldn't believe it.
I loved it, but it was shocking, and like, I was like, no way. And it was terrifying, too.
I had to take a break in this movie. I had to take a break, and I came down, and I'm glad. I told my wife, I'm excited, because I said we're going to watch it together. And she was on board. And I'm like, she goes, you watch it first, and then you tell me if I would like it. And I did. I watched it, took a break at a certain point, came down and said, I'm so glad we didn't watch this together, because I don't think you would have liked it or been into it. And she's like, I heard you yelling. I was yelling at the TV.
Hey, when you were in high school, guys, did you ever go to a party where and you asked, where are the chopped pecans?
No.
Did you ever go to a house party and like, all right, we're gonna drink some beer, smoke some pot, and where are the chopped pecans?
Well, and maybe as soon as that part happened, then that's when I'm like, oh shit. But you're just hoping.
Me too.
You're just hoping. You're like, nah, it's not gonna go like that.
No way. No way.
I'll say that as soon as I saw them chopping up those nuts and the talk of the cake, as soon as that went down, I felt the same thing. I was like, oh no. I think I even said it in the theater. I was like, oh no. And I immediately felt for this character. And then when they got in the car, when he goes up there and does this thing with the girl, and actually she, poor bastard, because he thinks he's going to get somewhere with this girl, and they get upstairs and they go in this room and there's these two dudes there, and she's like, Peter has weed. Oh, what a come down that is for him, because he thinks he's going to go in this room by himself with this girl and smoke a little and see what happens. Instead, she's bringing him to two other guys that may have a group smoke. I've been in that position before, and it sucks. So anyway, I felt bad for him, but then I'm thinking of her, and as soon as they get into the car, that is the most tense scene of the year. And I've seen some tense scenes, most specifically in A Quiet Place. What's going on in A Quiet Place compared to what's going on here? When you're talking about body horror type stuff and something happening to you because of an allergy or something like that is much more horrifying than monsters to me. So as I'm watching that scene, I was edge of my seat, like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then what happens at the end, and the way it happened, that is fucking brilliant. That is probably my favorite scene of the year, and the way it plays out and everything else, but the kid and the steering wheel and everything that's happened. Brilliant stuff. As soon as the movie begins and we get that opening shot into the miniatures, into the dollhouse, if you will, and the way it plays, all I knew I was going to like the film just because of that beginning, and it's going to be artistic. Great, okay, it's A24, I expect that. But I knew it, and the soundtrack. The thing is,
so many underlying themes. So many underlying themes.
So many. And I have no problems with here's the thing with me. My issue is a particular thing that happens when one of the actors is performing multiple times, which kind of got under my skin a little bit, and a couple of plot conveniences. Those were my things. That's what set it from being, oh my God, amazing, The Witch to me. It didn't, and everyone else was having that feeling. So I was expecting to have that feeling, and I was like, okay, great fucking movie. I'm not blowing it away. Apparently, though, you guys are in that camp. So we're gonna find out more on the other side because I'm gonna pose some questions, and maybe you guys can help me, and maybe, hopefully not. I don't bring you guys down if I open your eyes to something. But there's just different things here. But it's a great film. It really is. You'll never catch me saying a negative word about it. I cannot wait to buy this on Blu-ray.
Yeah, me too. I think on the surface, if you look at this as a straightforward story, the way it's presented, it's almost fairly simple. But like I said, these underlying themes sprinkled throughout really make you question a lot of things and really think and ask questions, and it really affects you personally. Because on the surface, the type of film it isn't necessarily the type of film I normally like. But the way it's presented, I think it's brilliant.
It's so funny that even in the spoiler section, you don't even want to talk about the type of film it is.
I know, right?
And it's so weird because it's a revelation unto itself, and that's some of the fun to be had with the movie because you don't realize it really until the hour mark because it's all this tragedy that just is set up.
But I think you get a sense of where it's going pretty early on. I think you get a sense of what type of subgenre we're dealing with within horror here.
It took me a little bit, but
I feel like there's enough clues in the first half hour where you're like, okay, I see where this is going, and it goes there.
Oh yeah, because of the what do you call it? It's because they're wearing the same necklace, and she says something in the first minute about she had private rituals. Boom.
Yeah, you hear rituals, you see symbolic necklaces, you see triangles on the floor. It's, it's like you can see where
you do get hints, but it's not right at this point. You're still it's like another piece. So, you're building the edge of the puzzle.
True. Yeah. Now, okay, there's a couple things I saw in other movies, too, which didn't bother me, but I was like, that stuff with writing on the wall.
You saw Toni Collette in The Sixth Sense?
No.
And she was also in Krampus. You saw her.
Oh, her. It's funny.
Yeah, you saw her in other movies.
Yeah, I saw her in other movies.
It's a bad joke, but I had to keep going with it.
I did see her. It's funny because the next day I was like, "That's who she is. That's the girl from Krampus." I thought it took me. I was like, I know her from somewhere, and the next day it occurred to me she was the mother in Krampus.
Oh my God, she's awesome. Yeah. She's awesome in
I know she is awesome.
Yeah,
but I just
Oscar nomination for The Sixth Sense, and probably an Oscar nomination for this.
Nah, no chance.
No, she's got a strong chance, actually.
Not for a genre film.
She's in strong contention right now.
Hey, I'm all for it. I'll believe when I see it.
I don't know if she will, but she's like in the top 5 right now from the sites that I follow.
I mean, I'll tell you. There are numerous scenes that I was like, she just one upped it again. That's what I told my wife. My wife loves Toni Collette, so I'm like, being a huge fan of Toni Collette, you owe it to yourself to watch this film. I said, but you won't be able to shake certain images and scenes from your mind. However, her performance it's phenomenal. And even Gabriel Byrne.
Great. They're all great.
Everybody in this, like you said, I think Brandon or Dave at the beginning, everybody shines in this.
I don't like the way Peter cries. And he does it 4 separate times. I can see doing it once, but he's like,
you know what?
I noticed that.
I noticed it.
Yeah, dude. I can see it once because of the severity of the situation, but a person that age and older doesn't do it. He ended up doing that 3 or 4 times. It was a little too much for me. Even when I was watching the film, I think I saw my wife like rolling her eyes at it. It was a little bit over. That's like the way a 4-year-old cries.
Yeah, it was a little bit over dramatic, but at the same time, given what the story was and what they were doing to Peter, it made sense. But I did notice that. I was thinking to myself, his crying is a little too childlike.
Yeah, dude, I don't get why you would make that choice. I could see it once because of the situation, but not over and over again. But anyway, that's just one little thing. Now, how about the things from other movies that I saw? We just saw that in Darling. Remember in Darling when Lauren Ashley Carter goes into that house and she sees Satani written on the wall and she sees something else written on the wall? They did the exact same fucking thing here. And why would Toni Collette, the mother, even allow that in her house?
You know what? I didn't really need the writing on the wall. It's just I didn't really need it. I didn't mind it.
Why would she let what in the house? The writing?
Yeah.
Like why would she write?
What if you put your daughter to bed or your son to bed or whatever, and you go, even if your mother or mother-in-law happen to live in the house with you for a short time, and you say something that says Satoni written on the wall, you just be okay with that and not say a fucking word about it? Of course
Maybe she thought it said Spumoni.
Or that I was like a really good guitarist.
Satriani.
But you're right. You're right. But I mean, these are. Okay. I never questioned it, and it's not even. It really doesn't take anything away. I agree. Is it
and
necessary?
We saw it in Darling. They took it right from Darling. The same exact word.
I'm sure they've taken it from a lot of other movies. Aren't there other?
Yeah, a lot of movies. I'm sure have done that. But I love the translations of everything.
Candy. They found shit in the house afterwards and stuff like that. But I don't know. Like I think that's what builds. You start noticing that these things are becoming a little bit more evident as the movie plays on.
Yeah, I just don't see that happening. Why would you allow that to happen? Why would you let anybody write something in your child's bedroom next to their bed and just pass it off? And like I said, we already saw it in a different movie 2 years ago. I wasn't so crazy about that. I was like, okay, been there, done that. And then later on, the reveal is 100% lifted from fucking Paranormal Activity, the marked ones. Exactly. Seeing the pictures of the fucking person's mother with somebody else in a certain group. We've already seen that. That's what I thought. I'm like, what the fuck?
Interesting. Yeah, we just covered that franchise last year when we were in the year of the slasher. We did a franchise movie and franchise series. And you're right. Yet I still, once again, it's all presentation at certain points too. So that didn't take anything away. We've seen a lot of things done before. It's how that shit's presented to you now. That's what it boils down to. So I wasn't like, oh, fuck, we saw this in the Mark ones. I'm like, oh, fuck, that's super cool. Now talking about it, I'm like, yeah, fuck, we saw that in the Mark ones. But it's not taking away my enjoyment factor.
Yeah, especially since we all like the marked ones.
Right, no, that's fine. I'm just saying that a movie like this and everything else that's going on with it, I don't want to say I expect 100% originality. I just expect to watch it and be blown away at every turn because of how on board I am with it. I can't explain it. It's not that big of a negative thing. It's just that I saw it. I was like, okay, that happened there. Okay, that happened there. The Mark Ones thing wasn't so bad. Seeing the words written down there, there's no reason for it, and why do it? That's all. My other complaints are plot details that we'll get into later.
Some of the words I liked written because I liked looking them up and seeing how they translate. And it was creepy and eerie because it's almost like the answer's in front of your face the whole time. And I feel like that's how the movie was, where I wasn't overly shocked. Some of the imagery I was shocked by, and some of the things happening when they happened I was shocked by. But to me, it's almost like a very simplistic story for what it is. It's the underlying themes and the way everything can be interpreted in multiple different ways, and the use of the miniatures and the mother being an artist and Charlie being an artist, but a different type of artist, and all that, just all this analytical stuff you can get into is where the film just really elevates for me, because you could just sit here and, like Mr. Watson did, go scene by scene and break down interpretation of each scene.
I want to add another thing. I just want to say how fucking happy I am to be a horror fan right now.
No.
I mean, we're talking about how this decade is second to maybe the 80s and possibly now even better, depending on who you are. It's hard because we have the whole nostalgia hold on the 80s too, so I'm not necessarily ready to give it up. But think of what's come out this year alone from like a heavy hitter standpoint that I've now seen. And we still have things to come out. But we've got this movie. We've got A Quiet Place. We've got The Ritual. We fucking Terrifier. If this is too this is too artsy for me, fucking Terrifier.
Right. Yeah.
Check that out then, or whatever it may be. There are films that are coming out that I'm just so happy to be a horror fan right now.
Shh.
Except for that.
Oh no, I was just shushing you.
Should have known better.
I'm kidding. No, but you're right. It's a great time for horror. There's literally something for everyone. Some of the genres are, a little weaker than others, but we've talked about this multiple times. Just in the zombie genre alone, I think it's at its best almost. And certainly in terms of art house horror and independent horror, it's just there's just so much amazing stuff.
Yeah, I'm with you. I've been saying it all along. We're only 8 years in, and we're halfway through this. Well, more than halfway, but still, I've been saying it. We're only 8 years in, and I already think it's my second favorite. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
some people don't like modern shit, and I feel bad for them. But what are you gonna do? I'm enjoying it. We're in a great time. We're very fortunate to be able to be doing what we're doing with this podcasting stuff in this era. If we were doing this in the 90s or the early 2000s, it just wouldn't hold the same. We would just be probably a lot more negative. You know what I mean? Or just a straight nostalgia movie act.
There's a lot more thought-provoking horror these days.
Yeah.
It's a great time. I don't know why that came up during the conversation here, but I think it's because of how much I really appreciate this film. And yeah, there might be elements of other movies there. I don't consider that a negative. I think that, again, it's how it's presented and the effect that has on you, the viewer. And this one had moments where I like I said, I had to take a fucking break. That doesn't happen a lot.
No, listen, don't take my criticisms as just that. Like when I said that about the marked ones and about Darling, when they happened, I was like, it's hard to explain because I had such high hopes. I wasn't expecting to be reminded of other movies in such a direct way. Like the Shining thing with the music cues, I take that more as inspiration. But when I see certain things, I'm like, okay, that's cool. I wish it was something different because I'd already seen that, and because I'm putting this movie on a pedestal already, I would have felt better if it was handled differently. That's all.
This is kind of presented though in a way where it's almost like there's hope involved here. You get a sense that things might not be as sinister as they are. I mean, because it's almost presented at the very beginning, you're getting the sense that it's just going to be a family dealing with grief, and then where it goes is just, even though they do give you a lot of clues early, it didn't necessarily have to go there, but it goes there. And by the third act, it's fully engaged in what it is, and it can be shocking.
You get sucker punched throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
Really, and I respect it for that.
Me too.
Not many movies have the balls to do that. Balls deep is the theme of the show, and not many movies have the balls deep. All joking aside, most movies won't do this. Again, without getting into specifics, but I think at some point here we've got to end it. Like, I will blow this movie. I truly think it's one of the best we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, it's a great film. Yeah. It's in my. I'll tell you what. I have 3 big movies for this year, and this is one of them. I'll say that. So I'm not shitting on the movie at all. I'm just offering up why I had a little bit of doubt. I thought I was going to be a tad bit higher, but I still think it's an excellent film. I really do. And the ending is phenomenal. It's one of those movies when it ends and I just have a big smile on my face. I'm like, yes.
But for me, it's a full head explosion.
Me too.
Me too.
All right. Awesome. All right. Let's say goodbye. And then everything on the other side is going to be spoiler heavy.
Yeah, so, if you haven't seen it, don't listen to the spoiler reviews now. Seriously, watch it knowing as little as possible. It's much more effective that way. And
yep.
And I'll just say thank you to everyone.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Good night, and stay tuned for the spoiler segment after the credits, as Dave always says.
Yeah, the credits. After the credits roll, I know it's great. That's funny. Yeah, love you guys. See you next time. Lots of franchise stuff, and hope you enjoy it. So, okay, roll credits. Okay, let me say this. Hereditary. And because I listened to Watson and because of Ari Aster or whatever, I think that's the writer and director.
Yeah.
He says, in Watson, he did all the stuff in his review where he put links to it and he kept, taking things from interview of Variety. And there was a thing on Reddit. It was called AMA, Ask Me Anything, and people were asking him questions about it and he was answering. Here's what I take objection to, and this is what was bothering me. He says that Charlie was possessed from the beginning.
Yes.
Which makes no sense, because supposedly this demon of hell, when it's all Paul Heyman, I think his name is
was that his first name, Paul?
Paul Heyman.
Did you say Paul? Did you say Paul Heyman?
I think
yeah. Ladies and gentlemen,
it's Payman.
Payman, Paul Heyman. Okay.
Paul Heyman. I think that's my Jewish uncle.
My name is Paul Heyman. No, Paul Heyman's a guy from wrestling, but I kept thinking that since the first time they said Payman, I thought of Paul Heyman the whole movie. I had to slide that in there. Anyway, the director/writer says that this is Payman from the beginning, Charlie, which would make zero sense. That's my problem. Why and how? Okay, the grandmother.
Yeah.
If all these steps were required to transfer Payman from Charlie to Peter, why would it just magically happen for no reason while Charlie was inside her mother's womb? Just for no reason. And on top of it, why would a demon of hell have a fucking peanut allergy? Doesn't make any sense.
Well, you know what? That's something that I still think there was a little bit of Charlie still in there. I almost disagreed with the director the way he wrote that it's fully Payman, because I still think there's. Go ahead.
I disagree with the director. It ruins the film for me in that respect. Where if he's trying to sell to me that she's the vessel of Payman from birth. Number one, how did it happen?
Well, we didn't see that. We didn't have to see all the steps that go ahead. Just like we didn't see all the steps that go ahead. We were given clues of what was going on, especially when we get a look inside Joan's apartment and we see what she's been working on with Charlie's dolls and stuff, that the cult is at work, and they've been at work for a very long time. And the first time they were successful in finding Payman a body was with Charlie, because Ellen never had any connection with Peter because she was estranged from Annie at the time.
And that's it. And I think that was, and you answered it. She's the vessel. That's it. To bring Payman into the world. And then the peanut allergy could be the contingency plan, so to speak, as it comes into play later on. Now, they can't predict that this guy's going to take his sister to the party and this, that, never. I mean,
I'm different than you, see. I buy that.
I'm different too.
They can manipulate all that because they put that thing on the pole. That sign was on the pole.
Yeah.
There was a reason.
And they do put the animal there. I mean, you're right. So there's a lot of.
I don't mind that.
Okay.
I don't mind that supernatural stuff after the presence is here. If the cult's doing all the stuff, I can buy that they have the power to do that, and they can manipulate minds and and set things into motion. Because honestly, now the parallels of the people being in miniatures and that whole thing, that's what I'm saying is what's smart about the film.
Yeah, the whole idea that she's manipulating the people within her miniatures. And yet they're the miniatures in the cult's eyes. They're being manipulated by cult. And the whole film is a manipulation. I don't think they're ever in control of it. And that's why everything can make sense to me, how they can, know every little detail, because it's all pre-designed. They even talk about that.
You can't have it both ways. If it's so fucking easy to put Payman into a baby who isn't even born yet, doing no ritual whatsoever.
We don't know what the ritual was, though. We don't know what the ritual was. We don't know what they went through, how many people died, and what the sacrifices were like in order for Payman to enter Charlie's body.
And it's not easy. Evidently, it's not easy. I think there is a lot to be done, and I think those are the steps required, which is what we end up seeing.
Yeah,
Charlie might have just been an easier mark simply because, in the film she's portrayed as a little bit slow.
Right. Something's up with her. But then why would that be Payman? You can't be both. The guy said it's Payman from the beginning. Why would a demon have a peanut allergy?
Payman's in there, but it's still Charlie's body. But he's using it as a vessel until they can find a male body, which is what Payman preferred.
Yeah, but
a male suitor for Payman.
She never cried when she was a baby. They discussed all that. That would make sense. She didn't cry because she and she said, "Who's going to take care of me now that my grandmother's gone after she dies?" And by taking care of, I know what she means because she's Payman. It's either one or the other. I can't see it that way. That the grandmother was not allowed to be around the first child. So the second child, then she came into the house. The child was born, and then she let her have access to the child. But the child's already been born. You can't tell me that this woman, how powerful could she be that she's just going to be there and all of a sudden, so what she can do? Touch her fucking mother, her daughter's stomach? Okay, you're payment now. It's just, you know what I mean? It doesn't. They go through all these steps to do this transferring. People have to die. They got to cut off their heads. They got to do this. They got to have a ritual. But meanwhile, she's just born into fucking Charlie for no reason at all.
But I feel like if they did a prequel story and showed you how Charlie became Payman, there'd be a 2-hour movie on the rituals that they went through in order to do that. I think we're just supposed to buy it, and this isn't about Charlie becoming Payman, but about Payman's
Paul Heyman?
Paul Heyman's transfer into Peter.
I just can't.
Into his final form.
This is an intelligent movie, though. It's one or the other. I can't just pass things off as, oh, well, in a smart movie like this or a movie that comes off intelligent. That's what I'm saying. It's not a slasher where you're just supposed to say, well, how did Jason come back? Well, you got to say that. I guess this could have happened. That's what I'm saying. In movies like this that I take seriously, that I'm blown away by technically and everything else and the mood and everything that's so great about this movie, when I feel slighted by a plot thing, it's hard for me to get over that. Like, because if I'm putting something on a pedestal, I don't want to have questions in the plot. Also, the body. How could the body be in the house and nobody smelled it till fucking one day before? You know how bad that body would smell. And how do they even get it up there?
The cult does everything. But I think with Charlie, maybe it's easier when, because there's always a lot of talk about mental illness, and there's something up with Charlie. We don't know what was wrong with her, but she was definitely an easier mark, just like Annie's brother was a potential easy mark because he thought, they thought he was schizophrenic and stuff like that.
That's good stuff.
And they talked about that, and he might have been completely sane. Nobody might have been crazy, but they implied that they were, and Payman uses the weaker.
These were failed
minds.
attempts. Those were failed attempts. They killed themselves or whatever. So now they've got, maybe that's why Charlie's been the perfect vessel, because she is slow. She's like weak. She's got this like peanut allergy, whatever it may be. It's almost perfect. I mean, at that time they might not know out of the gate, but I'm just saying they realize that this is something that is easy to manipulate because it's in baby form, as opposed to trying to work it into the older brother and whatnot. Because it sounds like they were trying to do that when they were of older age.
Yeah, and they're hiding Payman in plain sight. So he's presenting as a normal, 13-year-old girl, and he's, with the exception of his clucking and the crude dolls that he's making with the cut off birds' heads, it's pretty much him just kind of hiding in plain sight.
That okay, you know what? I can kind of accept that. If they said that Charlie is Payman from the beginning, it's just, I'm gonna have to accept it. It seems to me that a demon wouldn't have peanut allergy. That's all. It just seems like it's one or the other. Like I could see maybe it was born and then they somehow did it.
You know what? I still feel like the peanut allergy is Charlie. So it's using Charlie's body. So Charlie.
So it's not really Payman.
So it's Payman. It's Payman has been inside Charlie the whole time, but there is a part of Charlie in there, and she has a peanut allergy, and they use that as their next stepping stone to finding the permanent home for Payman.
I agree.
That's the catalyst.
I agree and I understand, but the director said that Charlie is Payman from the beginning.
I think Charlie possesses Payman.
Right, I could see
possesses Charlie from the beginning.
You shouldn't have said it that way then, because that when someone says somebody is something straight up, you've seen plenty of movies. When somebody's possessed by somebody else, they're not them anymore. They're just them. You know what I mean? It's one or the other. You're possessed or you're not fucking possessed. Reagan was possessed by fucking Pazuzu. Reagan ceased to fucking exist. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. And
Ronald Reagan?
Him too. Okay, how about this one? And I love this shot. And oh my God, when they showed it the next day, when you saw fucking Charlie's head and the ants crawling on it, and all that.
Oh my God,
shit! Ooh. That's when it took a break.
When Charlie loses her head, I literally I wanted to cry. Poor
now,
Charlie.
As great as that is,
I wanted Charlie to be in the movie the whole time.
I loved that shot. I loved seeing that. But check it out. Later on in the film, they need fucking Charlie's head for the ritual at the end of the film. You see it and you see the crown on it. Am I correct?
Yeah.
If they needed that head, why would they have let it sit there for a fucking day for ants to crawl on it? And chance fucking cops or somebody picking it up or whatever.
Well, yeah, eventually it was found, and I'm sure, and it was buried with Charlie. Just like, the grandmother died, and they needed her for it. They were always planning on digging it up. Everything was sort of predestined, and it had to play out a certain way. And I really took no issue with that. I think it was just there for the shock effect to see the ants on it, because he could have gotten out of the car.
No, I think you got it. I'm satisfied. I think you're right.
Then I'm
I think
stop.
that. Yeah, listen, that's what I'm saying. I ask questions that you can answer them. I'll be the first to say, okay, I was wrong, because I think you're right then. Because if there was a service and we saw the service because she was breaking down, they were lowering the thing in there. I would assume that they would have buried the head in the casket with the rest of the body.
Yeah. Man, what a shocking scene, though. What a horrifying scene. I love Peter's acting in that scene. The fact that he never turns around, he drives right home and gets into bed. It's so terrifying. It's so awesome. I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
Even before, when he's sitting in the car.
Yeah, and he doesn't even look.
Yeah.
Because he knows.
Holy fuck.
Oh, my God. I got chills. Okay. I got chills right now.
I feel a little bit better about that. I wish the director wouldn't have said that Charlie was paying from the beginning, because it's a little tough for me to swallow.
Another issue people had issue with the light. The light that you see without, because a lot of people thought the light represents Payman.
I thought it represented the grandmother, believe it or not. I thought it was the grandmother at first speaking to Charlie, because right after she sees it the first time, she sees the grandmother burning in the woods. So I thought it was the grandmother communicating.
But then later you see the light like enter Peter. You see Tony Collette sees the light.
That's just evil. That's just Payman, I guess.
But I with that shot of her in the woods. I mean, what does that mean?
I don't know.
I mean, I know that we have cleansing, or not cleansing by fire, but the fiery climax segment or part of it. But
I think it was a message.
Where does that get? I don't see the I'm not too sure. I see the parallels there, or what's the message?
I think it's just a message. I think it's just a message that everything's on track. Keep proceeding the way you are.
Okay.
It's almost like a
sign.
It's
like
a
Dave.
sign.
I'm okay with that. That makes sense to me. I can buy that.
Yeah. That's why we do this. That's why I love doing this, because when I have questions, I can pose them to you guys.
And this is why we do good movies and not shitty movies, because it's much more fun to do this than to talk about a shit film.
You're right, because we can't debate Creepshow through 3 and fucking talk about why this guy made this decision. Right. It doesn't. This is better. This is getting to the bottom of something.
Yeah, we're waxing intellectual right now.
Yeah, man.
It's funny, the light, I never had an issue with the light. I just thought,
I think people look for a literal translation for everything. So when they saw, the light is Payman, but Charlie's Payman. So why is Payman seeing the light, which is Payman? I'm like, no, the light is more of just a representation of the evil that's going on. And it's funny that they used a white light. Another thing that you don't see. You would think it would be a sinister, dark light. Even at the end, when Peter jumps out the window and kills himself, you see a black shadow leave and the white light enter him.
Yeah, man.
Man, it's just it's a, you know what? I've only seen it once. This is a film that definitely needs multiple viewings, but it's
no question.
Yeah.
Did you guys think Joan? Did you pick up right away? That was one thing I did when I watched the film and she went to that grief session and she was going to pull out and that woman came up. As soon as that woman came up and stopped her, I told my wife, she's in on the evil, whatever it is. I knew it fucking immediately.
Yeah.
It doesn't usually happen with me. But I was like, oh, wait, she's in on something. There's a reason.
Immediately, I didn't click in. I wanted to know why she was so interested. But like I said, I sometimes, like, this is what I was alluding to again earlier. I just let the movie take me on its journey. And then as it's unfolding, I'm like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Sometimes I think it's more overt. So I give credit to the director that I feel like they didn't shove it right in my face. Although you're saying you got it right away. I just said, okay, who's this? Now, okay, she's experienced some loss too. Because I was more wondering, where are they going with this loss? I knew there was the symbols of the cult and whatever, but I wasn't sure how this all played in yet. So I wasn't thinking she was evil. I wasn't thinking of anything else. I did think it was more of a coincidence when she ran into her again at the hardware store or whatever it was later.
Something was up.
And then when she brings her through and starts showing her this, I thought, oh, this is great. But again, I didn't think this was a link to evil at this point. I just wanted to know, okay, what is it now? She's found this quote unquote happiness. Now she's bringing this to Toni Collette's character. Sorry, names are not my forte when we're going here. I don't have everything in front of me. And then ultimately, how is she going to use this, and how is it going to play out? So, as it built for me, it was surprise after surprise after surprise. I loved everything about it.
Yeah.
And I don't have it all figured out, but I don't. That's what I love about these movies. That's what repeated viewings will offer.
I forgot what the story was, but the teacher at the beginning giving the lecture in class was talking about something about
very Halloween. I wrote it down. What did they say?
What was he talking about? It was something about like destiny and whether things are predetermined, right?
Yeah. Oh man, I'll find it.
But it was interesting the way that played out in the story, because the story in essence is that
horrible, hopeless machine they were talking about.
Yeah.
Not having any. Yeah.
Yeah, and whether it was more tragic because it never had a chance, or less tragic. And in here, it's the same thing. Is it more tragic or less tragic because this family was doomed no matter what? Because Annie saw all the signs. She tried to stop it. She came up with these theories about how to stop the evil and what to do, but everything always backfired and just created more chaos because it was all just predetermined. It was always going to play out bad no matter what. And I like the way they played with her mental illness too, because she was saying some crazy fucked up things, and they were telling stories, and she was telling stories about, when she almost set the kids on fire. So,
Yeah. Why that happened, right? See, I look at it as this. Now, here again, I take issue with the director. The director said that she was trying to, because they say it in the dream, when they had the dream sequence later, and she reveals all that stuff to her son about, I never wanted to be your mother, yada, yada, yada. That whole thing, which is great and powerful. But she said, I was trying to save you. So in other words, she was subconsciously trying to kill her children so this could end in the Hereditary, where payment would never come to pass, and she put an end to it. So it was in her subconscious somehow, so that's what she was trying to do.
Yeah.
I like it better as pure good doing it. Like, obviously, there's a devil. That means there has to be a God. I think it's better to look at it as that's God intervening.
Well, that's interesting. I guess you could look at it like that. Maybe there was some sort of divine intervention there.
Right. Don't you think that's better than just saying, well, it was in her subconscious, so she did it that way? That's what the director said. See, again, the director's explanation, I don't agree with it. I like better thinking this way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I kind of like yours.
What about when there's a story revelation that we witness, but Annie does not? Yet it's sort of the catalyst, unless I'm mistaken, again, only watch it once, but it's the catalyst for her to go through all the old picture books at home to then give us all the revelations that we're talking about via the marked ones and things like that. Where I'm going with it is where she goes to Joan's place apartment and is frantically banging on the windows. Now we're seeing an internal shot of the camera pulling back, showing her banging on the windows, and it comes into the kitchen, and we're getting that beautiful haunting music, and it comes down to show the
candles, right?
The candles and the little piece that Charlie was made, and then the picture with the hollowed out eyes of Peter.
Yeah.
Peter. Sorry, I finally brought up the names because I was going nuts here. She doesn't see that shit. We as the viewers see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and again, they could have had the door open and made it a little bit more forced. I guess would be a way to put it. They don't. She leaves, but this is what pulls it and brings it to the next act, or the next part, which is where I believe she's going through the attic and getting, or that we're not the attic, but all those books of the pictures after that.
Yeah. Yeah, she doesn't realize that all the rituals are in full effect. She still has hope when we as the viewer are seeing that it's in full effect and that it's almost hopeless at this point, and yet we're still watching, hoping for
but that's a puzzle
nice
piece
outcome.
For us. That's a puzzle piece for us. How did she get to that puzzle piece is where I'm going. Like, I know she's already in frantic mode. I know wheels have already been put in motion. But now we're seeing, like, she's going to her for some answers and for some help. Joan.
Well, she finds the mother's books and stuff. The spell books, the books on payment and stuff.
Male host. She reads that it wants a male host.
And then she goes to see Joan, or is this after she goes to Joan's apartment?
I think that's after. I think that's when she finds all the books and stuff with the picture books and everything else.
Okay, well,
I could be mixing things up because again I only saw it once too, but
I just didn't know how she got to that point. So why was she suddenly going, I got to look for these books? Like, maybe there'll be answers in these books. Like, I don't know. For us, the viewer, we've got this link scene
I know why.
of shit's going down.
No.
Okay, shoot it to me.
I have the answer. Because she goes looking for those things that the woman stitched, like she made for Joan. It's like a welcome mat thing. So she goes looking for those, and they are in that box.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, there's the link.
Husband, yeah. And then one leads to the other. It's the same box. She opens it up, and here we go.
There's subliminal things happening, because when she does mention that when she goes to see Joan, goes, wait a second, my mother used to make those things too.
Right. So
and maybe Joan was like, was that a misstep, or was that all part of the master plan?
Oh.
Was that a plot convenience for her to draw a comparison, or was that something that was put there as part of the master plan then?
I think it's a misstep, because why would they want her to know?
Because they want her to know, because then she tried to solve everything and she only made things worse.
Well, eventually, yes, but I mean, if she never did anything, it still would have happened, because they were.
No, but it wouldn't have proceeded the way it did. Like, the way it proceeded so quickly, Stephen getting burned alive, and then she, is possessed and cuts her own head off. It's just, it escalated so quickly, so that Peter was so worn down at this point. He's open for possession.
That was so great when she was fucking sawing her head.
Oh God!
No emotion and the noise going back and forth. That, and right before that, when she was banging her head up against the freaking thing, when she's on the other side, and Peter's on the other side of that door. Oh, it's so cool.
Or when she just floats out the fucking back.
Oh, it's awesome. In the end, when they're floating with the fucking headless bodies. Oh my gosh.
I still have questions. They're good questions. These questions don't take away from the movie for me, because, again, a movie to me is the experience. And when a movie can transcend from just simply a plot to be something that I can watch over and over and over again, I forgive a lot of this stuff. And then I'll pull it out maybe years later going, holy shit, yeah, I didn't realize that. But I never necessarily hold it against the movie. I'll never say, well, I don't like that now, and whatever. I've never done that to a film. I've questioned it, like, watching a movie so many times, at some point you're like, well, this doesn't make sense. But a lot of times people watch a movie once.
Right. This is true. You're right. That's true. I'll tell you what, I like the manipulation of Payman to Annie because of what happens with her husband. When she throws the thing in the fire and then she doesn't want to do it again because of what happened before. So she's trying to convince him, and he's being, he's like, I can't do it anymore. I've enabled too much. He finally puts his foot down. Even before that, we see him break down and cry. So this guy's at his breaking point, and he comes to the point. He's like, I'm not going to do it. You know what I mean? I'm enabling this, and I can't do it anymore. So she throws the fucking thing in the fire anyway, and he catches on fire. Holy fuck. They're like, fuck you. You think you know the rules? You don't know shit. Boom. Burn this motherfucker up.
Exactly. That was an awesome scene, because she thinks she's gonna sacrifice herself and break this curse, and she only escalated it. Oh man.
I love that it's all set in motion. You won't get any complaints out of me about that. They're the pawns, and what's going to happen is just going to happen. Hereditary is the title. This is Hereditary. This was bound to happen because of this grandmother's pact. Once again, Paranormal Activity. A grandmother makes a pact with a cult to fucking bring somebody in. Instead of bringing in Toby, this time it's Payman. Instead of fucking doing what they did in the marked ones with knowing the person's mother, she knows Joan, and they find it out in the pictures. There's definite parallels to Paranormal Activity, and it's funny how many people are going to make that observation but us. But it's true.
But I did. That's the funniest thing. But everything you're saying is absolutely true.
Isn't that crazy? And I wasn't critiquing it. I was just a little bit surprised to see it. It was just like, I expected. See, I can't really put it into words. I wasn't disappointed. I was just hoping for something completely new because of my enjoyment of the film.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. Especially
like everything I saw in The Witch, I never saw before.
Exactly.
Plot-wise. You know what I mean? And I was like, wow, awesome. They went here. I didn't see that. Didn't expect that to happen. Where in this, it happened. I was like, okay, maybe I didn't see it coming. I wish it wasn't something I had seen before. That's all.
They didn't invent a new story here, but they told it in one of the most amazingly effective ways and hauntingly beautiful.
It's excellent. I want to watch it again now, just talking about it. And I don't want to wait a couple more days to buy the Blu-ray. I've been hemming and hawing about purchasing it on freaking Amazon for $15 or just waiting for the Blu-ray. You know what I mean? But I was able to rent it for free, actually, because I got a free rental when I got my TV. So I was able to rent it to watch it this time for the second time. Yeah, and that was cool. But I'm like, oh, I want to watch this thing again, you know? But whatever. It's a great fucking movie. What else?
It really is.
You know, so the whole thing was made up with Joan about the grandmother, about her grandson and her son, and talking to him at the chalkboard and all that stuff. That entire thing was a ruse, because that's what I'm led to believe now. That it was all set up. Because remember, they tried to get her to go to the seance in the first place. Remember, they put
put the flyer in the mail. Yeah.
So they know where she lives. So I can live with the fact that they put the body in the attic and everything else, and they found a way to do it. And I was nitpicking when I said they probably would have got the small a lot sooner if it happened the very next day, because the body went missing. But who knows? It's a question.
You know? I see it as a ruse to get her to go home to perform the ritual to further along the agenda of the cult.
I could buy that. How about that dinner scene? How about that dinner scene? Before we go, we got a fucking. Wasn't that an amazing fucking scene?
Yeah.
The dinner. Sorry, refresh my memory.
Oh,
why can't I remember it?
That whole, oh my gosh, that whole thing when when Annie finally opens her mouth and says that.
The big Oscar nomination scene. Sorry, I was just taken back for a second, but yeah, she delivers. That's the performance of the movie.
Oh,
and I thought his acting there, Peter's acting there when he cries is great, because he's just like, it's like he's being attacked, like it's just. Like he asked for it.
Yeah, he's not crying out loud. You just see him tearing up.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a powerful scene.
That stuff's great. And how about when freaking what's the father's name? When he discovers that she did her thing and she's recreating the accident with the miniatures, and he goes in there and his reaction.
Oh yeah, that's when I saw her recreating it. I'm like, oh, this woman is
what? Right? And he's like, do whatever you want. And he goes, I know, because I already made dinner. He goes, come. Stay here or do what you want. I don't give a shit. It's so realistic. It's just like a husband who's trying to stand by his wife and be as supportive as he can, and he's doing such a damn good job at it. But he has a couple weak moments, and he's only human. But I don't blame him. You know, it's heavy family drama stuff, and it's so fucking intense and so good. I feel better. My questions about Paul Heyman, and the possession right from the beginning is my only issue, and it's only because I listened to Watson and when he said that the director said that. So it ended up being, instead of being something great, which he loved, it deterred me from it. I'm like, oh, how does that make sense? But that's my only thing now. Everything else, since we discussed it and we discussed all the attributes of it, I can live with it, and I still love the film.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like how Payman, I mean, look, this Payman Charlie thing is still I'm gonna have to see this a few more times to really narrow down in my mind what I think. But there's this scene when she's possessed by Payman, Annie, and she's screaming out, "Where's mom? Where's mom?" And that's such a powerful scene because she's pretending to be Charlie at that point. You think it's Charlie. So Charlie is Payman. Payman is Charlie at this point, and it's almost like the Charlie part is crying out for her mother, but she's at the mercy of Payman, who has much stronger control of her.
Man,
I mean, this is very preliminary thought process stuff for me, because I gotta watch this again. But man, there's so much to chew on and take in.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'm glad that Raphael said, I want to hear what you guys have to say about it.
Yeah, me too.
We might have waited a little longer you guys might have waited a little bit longer to watch it, you know? So
yeah, no, I'm glad I watched. I mean, I'm definitely buying it now. I mean, there's no question about that. I've been putting it off. I was actually saving it for closer to the year end because of all the hype it's getting, but I'm really actually very, very glad we did it now.
Oh,
as am I.
Oh, how about Peter in class when he holds up his hand like that?
Oh.
And it's just like, there's a picture of Payman when he's doing the same thing. It's very reminiscent of The Exorcist, where in The Exorcist, when Reagan is possessed and she's sitting in the chair earlier in the film before she goes fucking full crazy in the bedroom, she's sitting there like this in the chair in the interview, and she's holding up her one hand the way Pazuzu looks in the statue. Same type of fucking thing. So I thought that was...
two scenes, like, it sounds, again, maybe like I'm exaggerating, but I'm not, almost like paralyzed me in fear in a sense. And it was... where Annie walks into Peter's room and starts like screaming, like going like the sheer intense like look of horror, and then it cuts to Peter and he's just engulfed with ants.
Oh, damn.
Oh, yeah.
That sequence, but just her reaction before you even see it, it was like I just remember like backing up in my chair and being like, and then the scene that you're mentioning in the classroom where he's like that, and then he throws his face into the desk repeatedly. I was like, just like, oh, it's like I just couldn't move. Like, and again, I'm not like making this shit up. I was just like, this is so fucking well done, and that's what I'm saying. This movie had an effect on me, like physical effect on me. And I had to take a break. And I keep saying that over again because I don't do that often in a film.
Right. Fuck.
Awesome. Awesome stuff.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Man, there's one more funny thing I wanted to mention and I forgot what the hell it was. Damn it. But it was funny. It was something funny that actually happened in the movie. And I'm going to remember right when we finish and I'm going to be like, oh, damn it.
Yeah, I want to know because that movie definitely needed some humor in it. Cause...
It was a knock-knock joke that Payman tells at the end. They cut it out. Like, that's exactly that last shot. He was supposed to be like,
knock, who's there? Payman. Knock. Payman who? Pay me my money, you Patreon bitch.
And that's how we should end the show.
Oh, God. That's one of my worst jokes ever.
on the spot, that was fucking gold, man.
That was gold. Right. There you go. Well, that's it. That's better than anything funny I could say.
Yeah.
So, hope you guys enjoyed our long breakdown and our long, right?
Knock, knock. Who's there?
Oh, shit.
That's great.
Awesome. Yeah, that was quite a long show. So,
yeah, check out the movie. If you're listening to this and you've already seen it, check it out again because this. I think this is one of those movies that's just going to get better and better with repeat viewings.
Excellent. All right, well, let's be out. So.
Peace out again, motherfucks.
See ya.